for sure.
See you guys.
Ciao.
Hey guys, welcome to the closed markets. In flux, making a big move early on that PMI number, but ever since then retracing and just hovering around and doing absolutely nothing. You guys heard Ian and Luca talk about that during the midday show. S&P down 0.08%, the Dow down 0.17%, the NASDAQ up marginally, up 0.15%. The TSX in Canada up 0.25%, not too bad. Crude's the bigger story though, guys, down 1.5%. You heard Ian and Luca talk about some oil stocks, and we updated you guys on the energy update. So that's a look at the markets. Not too much to discuss with respect to sector watch. The leader here, I would have to say, is media and entertainment. You're having a big move up on Paramount, big move up on Netflix, as well as Warner Brothers. You didn't really see the same move on Disney, only up 1.67%. Last time I updated you on this, it was up 1.5%. So that's the strong one in that regard. I'd have to say the lagger definitely is energy. Have a look at Halliburton down 4.25%. Schlumberger also down 4.5%. So Devon Energy not too far behind that 3.7. So energy definitely suffering today. Etsy, a standalone here in retailing, down 4.63%. And then the healthcare and pharmaceutical stocks giving back their gains yesterday, guys. Let's have a look at the S&P 500 chart right over here. This is the MES. Looks like we topped out intraday at that 39.80 mark. But high of day, this is the area we broke down from, is at 39.90. We haven't gotten close to there, guys. Currently, we're trading at 39.59. So that's where we stand on that. And it's time for our friend Shawn to show you his trade of the day.
What's up? Thanks, Cherif, man. Doing a great job one more time. It's your trade of the day brought to you by Day Trade the World. Hit that QR code below and start your prop floor today with the #1 prop company in the world, Day Trade the World. Okay, Carvana, look, today it's actually only up 1.5%, but wow, what a roller coaster of a day for Carvana. I want to talk about just what's been happening recently in this name. This day down 47% at its bottom. Why? Because I believe it was Morgan Stanley. I probably should double check that. It doesn't matter. Came out here, downgraded the stock all the way down, and the rest was sort of history back on Wednesday when this name got absolutely clobbered to the downside on the 7th. Again, down 47%. We were short this name that day, and we were short yesterday, and guess what? We were short again today. Let's go over what exactly our day looked like here. So, all right, we start the day, and again, we have to pay for short. So this is a hard name to borrow. You might not be able to borrow this. It's one of those this was a $375 stock earlier on in the year. The short percentage is about, I think it was 10 to 12% or so short, but still, we had to pay for it, hard to borrow. First trade here into the pre-market. It's basically on open there. When we get short at the 200 period into some pre-market levels, bring it back down. That's a short at 60 or so. Some outs there at 40. Comes back up, hits us again. What levels are we playing off of here? This is yesterday. So yesterday at the close, we did make some moves back down in. We'll talk about this level as well. But we just wanted to short in here below $5, right? So this is the whole section here is below $5. We even wrote it on our sticky note that the minute we took down 5, we would want to be very, very cautious with this trade because we do know that it does have this potential in it. I think it was a double halter today. It might have halted twice. Halted definitely there. It looks like there again, maybe 3 times a charm for the halt today. But this is what we did. We went short. We captured profit. We brought this back in. And when you go short, you have to have outs, especially if the stock is running. So there's Carvana. Some nice trades there. That's a $5. Patient, right? Bring it all the way back in. Now, we did hold a piece for a lower move. But what happened instead? Okay, so this is where you wind up not, even though you have a short bias, this is actually where you wind up not losing your whole day or week or month or whatever it may be because you're thinking short. What did we do? This is 5:15. So yesterday here, I'll go over to this side a little bit. Yesterday, we touched out here at around 520. That was that top that we made yesterday. So it's right back in here as well. That's that 520 top. We were sitting here trading this. We actually had to break long here at 470. Yesterday, we hit this long. So we know the gas that is behind this when it gets going. Yesterday was a fantastic trade to the upside. And remember, we closed it at 496 at the close. Well, look what happens again today. Breaks back up. And I could have waited for 420. I mean, 520, sorry. Either way, we would be long there or here. We picked 515. Not really sure why, to be honest with you, but that 515 got us out. We punch long as the market just blasts to the upside, punch long, halts, opens back up, and then the rest is sort of history, as they say. Nice moves back up to the upside, and look where we get out, 430, 440, 450. If you're gonna look here, we did have some spots into there, 430 or so. I mean, again, we're just kind of playing momentum. Not much there, honestly, as far as the levels. We just watched it go to the upside. We halted again, we reopened, we got a piece out, and then boom, we let it run all the way to $6 and don't get out. But look what happens. Comes back in, halts again, dips down. That next move up, we sat there at 580 and wound up getting our fill to end the trade on Carvana, which was a pretty good one because now it's drifting back in. It's your trade of the day just for a couple reasons. One, we had the bias short, right? We were able to make money early, but then it started to take off to the upside. Have your stop, reverse it into the long, and take advantage. So we actually wind up making money both ways today on Carvana. Remember, look for names that have some sort of a catalyst. Nothing specifically today, but we saw a nice run up off these dumps. So we know there's going to be some juice in this trade. Plus it's Friday. We did have PPI this morning, but it's been kind of slow. So you want to look for names that have some movements in. We've been trading some oil today. We're trading some Carvana, and it's your trade of the day.
Thanks for that, Shawn. Hell of a trade there on Carvana. What a volatile stock that has been the last little while. I hope none of our viewers are long that stock going back a ways. But the mover I want to speak about as we get into this afternoon's watch list is Tesla. The market is relatively flat, but Tesla is not. Look at this, up 4% on the day. Looks like we double topped just a little bit here at 182.50-ish area, but you know, not retracing all that badly down. 180.37 is where we're currently trading at. So Tesla looking relatively strong here. And ironically enough, you know, the news of production cuts you would have assumed would have been a negative catalyst, not for Tesla today, guys.
I mean, it near the bottom end, caught support, ran up right into the top end line. This is kind of what I mentioned off the top here when we talked about it in the morning, which is going to be, I would prefer that short potential because that's just the easier trade, but it did not surprise me that we actually made a bounce of this size. So here we are, still running strong on Tesla. 4% to the upside, looking good. It's like the number 4 weight in the NASDAQ, I believe. And so far, so good, right? They just got near that 83 mark, came back down, caught a bit around 79. Here we are working 80s. Futures market also stabilizing here. It seems like around 60 and change. So Tesla's doing its own thing today. It is the lead runner right now in the top NASDAQ there at 4%. After that, you got Meta, you got Apple down there at 1% as well. But Tesla definitely looking good on the intraday, but on the multi-day picture, you got to wonder how long is this rally going to last before we hit the next resistance level, and we're pretty damn close of turning around. So I'm going to let it trade. I'm not going to get involved today. It's very quiet so far. It's pretty obvious. If you caught the long early, played the base against the 169, good job. It would have been a nice trade for you, but now we're entering a new territory where we potentially may have to fade this. And of course, the flip side of this is if you take out 185, it opens up the daily to the next leg up, which would put you into the 190-ish, well, not even 190, would actually put you into the 192 area. So you've got some space to the upside, but they do need to clear through this 185 to be a clean move that continues on. But just be aware that there is some resistance above us for the net. Well, based on right now, it's the next $5, but from the high, it's about $2 from the high or so as we kind of just, market's gone somewhat quiet. It is trading within a range, and here's Tesla doing its own thing, up 4%.
It's funny because sometimes we go for our trade of the day and we come back and we're like, oh man, I wish I would have gotten out or something when that had happened because a move happens and I'm up there doing the trade of the day. Well, look at Apple right here. We've been shorting Apple, short and out, short again. And look at that. We put an order at 80 there, right near that bottom, and got filled on the way down for Apple. So we're 50 cents, 60 cents in the money on this short right now. But I did mess with Tesla a little bit here today. It was almost your trade of the day just because it was pretty clean trade trading. We left it alone all day there until it broke that 180. Once it broke 180, we did have the long. So these are 180 longs, 180 15s, 180s. And then we got out at 180, 130 or 180, 120 there. It did make a high move up to 182.50. I wanted to wait to see if we could go higher and higher and higher. Even Ian on the midday show was like wondering if I was still in this position. But look what happens. It comes down. It's hard to see, but I do have an out right there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold this until we break the 200 period, honestly. It would have been maybe wiser to say use the 50 period, but I wanted to use the 200 to give it some room. So on that last bit, we only wind up taking 50 cents. That out's at 48 or 49 there. Then we retried it. We let it drop all the good out, right? We let it drop all the way down another dollar into VWAP before taking along at 179.50, getting it out at 180. That's only 50 cents. Again, waiting for a bigger move, but that doesn't happen. Breaks VWAP. We tried one more time at 179, breaks VWAP back to the downside at 178.90 as right now TSLA with a Z, as my guy over there likes to say. I don't know. We had that conversation before, Cherif. Remember? You like to say Tesla, and most people, I think it's Tesla with the S. But then I remember Cherif said that like it was because of Nikola Tesla. Like there's a lot of apparently pronunciation.
How is his name actually pronounced? I think is what.
That's what it was. I thought it
that.
was like with a harder Z or Z for our American friends over there. But Tesla. Trying to make a mix of both there. That's hard to do. A good trade today, above 180. I still like the long. It's just barcoding a little bit. I think we could try test this long one more time if it comes back into 180. So Cherif, is that just a habit for you, or is that sort of the way the name was pronounced?
You know what I think it is? I think I just started saying it that way, but I'm far too stubborn to want to back out, and I'm not backing out to Prad, of all people. So, no, I'm kidding, of course. It is Tesla, as the viewers of the midday show will know. Now, you guys heard you heard Shawn talk about the intraday trade here on Carvana, but have a look at the daily chart on this, guys. This is what I was referring to. Into the introduction, I mean, we go higher than here. This chart doesn't do it justice. It's in the high 300s. We're trading in the $5 range now. So a bit of a tough break on this one, especially with you know how the management in that company forecasted how people would continue to buy cars after the pandemic. It looks like a lot of retailers and online businesses have made miscalculations in their forecasting, and Carvana on the brink of bankruptcy here, guys.
Yeah, well, Carvana at one point, $374 and change, $376.83. And here we are. That was going back into 2021, August of 2021. And here we are now working $5 and $6. All right, guys. Here we are. The big thing here on Carvana is, and I think from Monday when I was on, I mentioned this about the gap, right? No, it wasn't Monday. Well, it's 3 days ago. Anyways, the gap happened.
I think it was Wednesday.
The gap happened, and here we are worrying. I'm just wondering what action is in here between from the point we bounced down or you open down by gapping and all the way up into that 7. So I said 6 to 7 is going to be a very interesting level just because we haven't traded there. Market's got to do price discovery. At any point we can catch an offer. Usually we go for a gap fill, but again, this market can catch an offer. It looks like Carvana, it's been moving, right? Strong move up, couple halts all the way to 590 and change, and then looks like we caught an offer near 6. So it does look like that level is going to have some action here up top. It's a matter of how to play this gap because you know it's going to want to keep going back up and seeing what's above, right? So it's like at this point, the only trade, I haven't traded this, and I know Shawn's been active on Carvana, so I'm not going to say a whole lot apart from the daily perspective. It does look like there's a gap there from 6 now all the way up to 7. Until we fill that gap, it's going to be pretty much overhead resistance, it seems like.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's pretty much what I've been doing. I mean, today we used $5 as our stop. We talked about that on the trade that it was actually $5.15. And I'm agreeing with everything you're saying there. This gap here to 7, that's the drop. It needs to fill that back up. And then we'll see, we've got Beyond Meat, there's Peloton, there's a few names. And I think maybe we misspoke a little bit there. It's not that they're on their way to bankruptcy. I don't know. We'd have to see what the debt is trading at and things like that. But it's just the fact that, hey, it's been a pretty beat up name, and the environment's changed now for Carvana, obviously, with dealerships back open. We don't have any Carvana here in Canada, but I just don't really like that model, and they probably took on a little bit too much debt to build out some of these shops and whatnot, vending machines for cars, basically, and that's been a little bit of an issue. And then, of course, they come and get that downgrade, and then it's just gone. So for me today, it was pretty simple. We already just talked about it on the trade of the day if you missed it right now, but up, 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 up. There's the fade back down. We can see what happens right here to see if it does come out back into the upside there. We got a 560 out. Now you're just sort of bouncing around $5 again. So we'll wait. I still think Carvana is a short. I actually will short this thing if it breaks 480 on the downside. Again, we're day traders here at Day Trade the World, so we have to be flat at the end of every single day. So this is not against like, oh my God, other people are going long, or what are these guys doing shorting things? We're just trying to take the pressure of the day and figure out where we want to go. I don't think Carvana should be up today. So that's my opinion. I mean, it's got hit down. They had a nice rally yesterday, couldn't hold that, and then the fade. So to me, it's like, here we go. Breaks higher, great. Whoever was long was right. Probably crushed it to the long side, right? Good trade. But right now, as you keep on going to the downside, higher, low, lower, high, lower, high, lower, high, all the way down, all the way down. I have an espresso here, so hopefully we'll fix this. Lower, lower. And now you're starting to tick up a little bit. So again, we can go short here at 480 and watch to see what happens if we break some of these levels here, 510. I think we'll go short now into these levels. I think I like that a little bit better. Let's go short right now into 515 here again. If we can get a 510, right now we're at 5 flat. If we bump up, we'll take that fill right there. Otherwise, it could barcode all afternoon, so I don't want to spend fees and time on this. We either take 480 to the downside, or I get short here around 510, and we'll play off this 520 area. So 2 trades there for Carvana. I still think it has a really good chance to be active here into the close. 44 million shares. Cherif.
Yeah, Shawn, next on the list, we are going to talk about Netflix, part of the group of entertainment stocks that is up on the day. Warner Brothers, Paramount, up with it as well. But guys, look at the daily chart on Netflix here. Do you remember this bad earnings report where we dipped down from 335 and, within a matter of, like, I'd say 2 weeks, we made our way down to 165? Well, guess what? We're back to 324. We're $10 away from that breakdown area. So Netflix really showing, that it is, it's not over for it yet. It's having definitely a better second half of the year. With respect to intraday, this one has given you ample opportunity to get in, especially earlier on. My chart here is acting up a little bit on it, so I'm unable to show you the earlier part of the day. But Netflix, guys, solid, up 4.5%.
We are going to go to Netflix real quickly, but one position that we didn't talk too much about that I've had on board right now is AMD. And I just want to give this an update because we actually spoke with, and what's up to Jocelyn if you're watching now, thanks for stopping by. She was talking about, learning a lot from our levels and so on and so forth. So I just want to quickly go over this. Just if AMD, we're still short. I mean, we've got a great trade on AMD right now. We're short up here. We got stopped. This always happens to me. And I said this to Arun, and actually as Jocelyn was here, right when we went off the air, up, stopped out right there, and I was like, nah, come on, man, we ain't getting stopped out at these levels. So we put the short back on, had to sit through it. Nice move to the downside. So I just want to talk about 69.80, Arun. I just want to talk about that because that's going to be where I get out if we do break a little bit. I don't have any trades on Netflix, but I know that I liked that 320 area before on that break, and then even that 324 break higher. But where are we right now?
We're at 324, and this is the area that Cherif is referring to, that breakdown, that earnings gap down. Yeah, we're right into that. It looks like the gap starts around 330 going all the way up to about 333 and change. So it is definitely starting to work its way back towards that gap fill. We're awfully getting close, but every time we bounce up, it comes right back down. And this has kind of been the stair-step move as we continued on towards that gap. And I think at this point, given how the daily is moving, 300 obviously becomes a very easy number to look at. Be like, well, we've tried once, we got above once, we really cleared it once, and if we still can't stay above 300, then that's a problem. But for now, the trend is still the upside. Clearly, Netflix doing really well, 4.5% to the upside right now. Trending down in the afternoon, but this is, You know, it's done a lot. It's done a lot because yesterday we closed at what, 310? I remember coming in this morning and I was like, okay, well, Netflix is, because we were looking at Netflix yesterday and the few days that I have been on this week that, oh, around 310, 305, we can probably figure out a trade. And I was thinking, you know what, if we're around 310, I can probably work something on the long side as well. And I come in and I see it at 320. I was like, really? Like, why? And then we had to work for the high or the highs to get going, 323, and then figure out what the risk on that trade is. And by the time we got to that point, I was like, no, forget it. Netflix, I got other better things to do with better risk. But Netflix still doing well in terms of intraday. It's just the amount of space you have to give it is going to be a decent amount, especially if you're going to work in the morning trying to capture these moves. But here and there are some great opportunities where the risk reward is great. There could be one potentially in the event that we do crack these 330s and fail, especially going into that gap. So keep an eye on that. Netflix doing well today, but could be a decent one to work with if it can continue its rally and work into that previous gap.
Before we go, yeah, great analysis there. Very, very similar thoughts. We had that. I just want to say one thing publicly. Playmakers messaged me as well, and that is just how good of a job Cherif's doing. And I just want to say one more thing. I mean, we always talk about this, but I'm noticing, honestly, Cherif, like how much more comfortable you are right now than maybe you were earlier at 8:30 when the show started, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I'm glad you're getting warmed up to that desk there. And he's also doing this not feeling well. So that's the other part. So a big shout out to you. Thank you for filling in for Brendan, and you're doing an absolutely fantastic job. And on that note as well, Luca and Ian on the midday show. I mean, we're I don't want to use the word blessed. That's, but we're very lucky and fortunate, I think is a good word to use, to be able to have had, such an opportunity to get traders like Ian, like Luca in front of you, so that, and Arun, you've been filling in for 2 years now or something. And Arun, no better of a fill-in than Arun as well. So a big shout out to every single person that we've ever had on as guest hosts or whatever, because these guest hosts are turning into permanent hosts as we build this show bigger and better. So I want to thank everybody for watching. And on that note, hit the like button. We always say this, and sometimes it gets a little bit over, but look, the reason why we don't charge it, we don't charge anything for the stream, anything for anything, right? So what we're trying to do is just make YouTube pay for this stream, right? So hit the like button. Let's get more viewers on this. Not only that, but it also shouts out the chat to be a better chat place for trading ideas and things like that. The more educated, the more risk-taking traders, the more ideas that we can have in our chat. And that makes me think also of something else I have to say. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls. We do that all the time on the show. But again, man, thank you so much for helping us clean the chat up when it gets a little out of hand there. So shout out to you, Bears versus Bulls. Shout out to Prad, who's on his way to get married, I think, in the next 24 hours or so. And we are going to talk about the World Cup. Then you're going to see Cherif real comfortable up there on the big desk. But let's throw it back, Cherif. Keep killing it, my guy.
Oh, I appreciate that, Shawn. And I just want to say we got the best team here at Trader TV Live. Something that's not having a great day, guys, is energy, oil in specific. Have a look at West Texas Intermediate oil here, 72.90 high on the day, but it has been all downside move. Looks like we're finding a bit of a bottom here at that 70 level. I want to say 70.10 or so. You've seen some of the stocks that have been hit as a result of oil: Halliburton, Schlumberger, Devon Energy, all down on the day. Energy in general not doing well today, guys.
I'll talk about crude. We mentioned crude, and you'll see in the bottom there, I actually have a crude contract short, crude futures contract short there at 70.98. So as of right now, it's about 40 cents. At one point, it was about 90 cents in the money. 70.08 is a low on that contract there. I haven't gotten anything out. The reason being, I'm being a little greedy because the market's been quiet, and I suspected that if we took out 70, we would have a decent stop run. But it doesn't look like we're going to make a move because we should be closing the pit session in about 6 minutes. So I figured we'd take a run at the lows. Nah, looks like we're going to make a move back up. And if this sticks around, I'm out. I don't need to stick around. I was looking for that 70 break, but I guess we're not going to get that. But anyways, even if I get out, I'm going to walk away with like 30 cents. 30 cents times $10 a contract per penny. You do the math on that one. Okay, so crude, let's look at the daily. Well, the daily actually isn't the big deal. It's going to be the multi-day. It's going to be this here. We broke down through that 72 mark, and then we bounced back up, and we were kind of consolidating in a range. And I was looking for that little move either above 73 or below 71. Now, if you were playing the range, yeah, you could have done that in a decent way here by working the resistance up top and then going for the, going for the drop. But I would prefer to play from underneath the consolidation. So once we got underneath 71, and I didn't do it immediately, I did wait a little bit just to see how they were going to trade. So I got in somewhere around here as we kind of snapped underneath, traded back above, went back down, did that back and forth action. Then I'm like, you know what, let's take a shot at 71 there and just play 50-cent risk at that point, right? 50 cents going up. We should not come back into 71.50. That would put us right back in the range. So I'm not going to step into that and take that trade. So we worked that trade, and like I mentioned, as we were trickling down, I was like, let's go 70. I had bids waiting to get out on a stop run below 70. That's how much I really wanted that 70 break, but no. Market, as we get closer to the end of the pit session, they are going to rally up and do some covering, it looks like. So we're not going to get that 70 break today, at least so far. It's crazy things do happen in the last few minutes before we get to 230 on crude. But for now, it does look like we're going to bounce. This does open up that multi-day move, though. Even though we may have gotten a bounce, keep an eye on this overhead resistance now, that 71 to, it looks like about 72-ish or so to the upside. That could become a problem in the event that we do go back up there. So we got two levels here. 71 going up to 72-ish could become a problem. Breaking 73 would end this downtrend and probably give us a chance to get back towards 75, 76. So keep an eye on that as we make a move back up to 80. Hey, we walked away in the 60s. We're at 87 now, and it looks like we may want to close at 71 and change going into the pit session close.
All right, let's go. Yeah, thanks for that, Arun. I know there's a lot of talk about oil today, and you have that contract, so congratulations on that, of course, as well. Yeah, I mean, the Russian situation over there is going to have, and then you have the Saudis going back and forth as well about, OPEC and cutting the supply and, pumping out more. It's just, we had back and forth stories. I think it was even last week where it was cuts, then it wasn't, and the oil completely reversed. I think even yesterday, I think it reversed 5% or something, or maybe it was the day before. But okay, yeah, good talk there about oil. Congratulations on the short. Let's see if it can still hold out right there for you. Coinbase, I'm just looking at this right now. Just quickly, I know we have to go back over. We do want to discuss some World Cup here quickly. But Coinbase, just looking at that, only because it's 40, I'm noticing right now, down 5%. I just wanted to see where we were today. Coinbase definitely on the move to the downside. So coming in, yeah, so it's not quite there yet. But if we break 40, man, that's the trade for me. I like that break of 40. This is 40.50. If we break that down below there, I don't want to take this break. Well, maybe we will. Maybe we'll take a 40.50 break. So let me look at crypto and figure that out. But 40.50 right now on Coinbase seems to be a decent bottom. This, of course, is a 1-minute chart. On the 20-minute, yeah, I mean, it's all the same, right? That's as soon as I saw a 40 handle, I was like, okay, we have to look at this again. Coinbase right near the bottom, guys. I mean, Arun and I were trading Silvergate on Monday. Could be Coinbase again here today. As this market is really quiet, and someone said on the chat, don't ever short quiet markets. I'm not sure we really should be trading quiet markets too aggressively. I mean, I'm going to talk about Apple and all that when we get back. I still have this Momo trade, which really isn't doing anything either. We've taken 2 good outs on that today, but here you go. The market's maybe starting to go a little bit back to the upside. All right, Cherif, it's World Cup time. What did you think about that Croatia-Brazil game?
Oh, my goodness, Shawn. I mean, who would have bet Brazil would have gotten knocked out by the Croatia in 2022? I would have taken that bet in 2018, but maybe not this time around, guys. A lot of people want to know what the spreads, what the odds for Croatia winning. Well, I've done that homework for you. Have a look over here. Looks like Croatia was plus 800 to win, while Brazil was minus 240 to win. So it looks like there was a bit of a difference there between the two. But I mean, what kind of game is it when there are penalties and your star, Neymar, doesn't get to take a penalty shot? Arun brought that to my attention, and him and I were having a discussion about the order and placement of shooters and penalties. And I told him they always like to keep the top guy to the end, because, in case you're tied. But what happens if you fall behind early? And that's exactly the situation we found ourselves in this time. My dad will be very disappointed Brazil is out, guys.
Yeah, no, we had that conversation, and I said that you should have put the second best shooter first, then put your random guys, then your best shooter fourth, and then your third best shooter last. I think that order at least gets you a chance to get your best guy in there and playing. So I mean, that's just strategy. Just like in trading, it's a strategy. Oh, crude taking off. Damn. North of 71 now.
North
rallying.
now or upside or down? Oh,
Upside.
You're out.
I'm out.
Okay.
I got out in the 60s, but it's still going another 50 cents now.
I thought Neymar was a bit hurt though, wasn't he, Cherif? Because I mean, maybe there's something to do with that, right? I mean, if you're going to be injured, it's probably better to not take it. But we have the same thing here. It's kind of like in Toronto, whenever the Leafs go into overtime, we have Austin Matthews, who's like pretty much. People are going to be like, if they're not Leaf fans, they're going to be at me here. But I mean, he's league leader, not this year, but for goals, 60 goals scorer.
For captain? You mean instead of
Austin
Tavares?
Matthews?
Instead of
No,
Tavares?
not just the captain. I'm just saying, like, he doesn't even take the first penalty shot or anything like that when we go into overtime, and that's only 3 shots you get in hockey.
Is he at least third?
Most of the time, he doesn't even shoot. So
maybe he's not a good shooter.
That's what I mean.
Close.
It's different skill sets for different.
I mean, everyone
different
knows Neymar
players.
can shoot, I think.
Anyways, that's why we're not coaches, I guess. But thanks for that. Good little wrap up there. Thanks, Cherif, for all of that. And thanks for Hod as well. Let's go back into some trading right now quickly. All right, so AMD's still hovering. Like, I'd love to do some more on this trade. I think we will. It's just right now when you have a trade kind of by the, you know what? You might as well hold it a little bit here. But if it does break back above VWAP for me, this AMD trade comes out pretty quickly on that one. Apple. And again, they all look the same right now, man. I mean, here's Apple short, and you want to talk about getting out of the way again? Like, here's our last short for Apple, out a little bit, out the rest, and we don't have to worry about it as it rips all the way up. And the funny thing is, these are all shorts today I wanted to, like, really, we talked about Pratt asked one day if he could punch himself in the face, and I said yes. But the thing is like, I don't know. We close to doing that right here myself. Apple, long. That's all we talked about here on the sticky note today was long 142 or 43. If we're lucky enough to get a dip to 42, I was talking about. Well, we got a dip to 42. We got a dip to 41.50. We were short because of that PPI number, right? PPI blasted this all the way down to 141. It came back in. And instead of, like, building longs here, like, all I'm doing is getting short. And then when it breaks 143, what do? I just get out of my short and do not go long. Like, it's written right there in relative stone. I mean, this is just paper, but there's the move. Missed it all the way to the upside. Feel almost sick about that, but we've now shorted it again right now into some of these levels, 144, 145, and now it's starting to break down a little bit. It's just, it hasn't been a super great trade, except for when we went to that trade of the day. We were able to get short here at 144.50 twice. That's our best out there, 80s. So I was going to get out if we took it out this level, which is about a 65. I wasn't holding this all the way to the back. So far, so good. Look, we just made another low at 144 there, and now we're up 20 cents from that. So, it doesn't look like these are major moves, but when you're scalping, 20 cents does mean a decent amount there. So I feel like we got to keep our scalping hat on here with Apple and just try to take these ranges back and forth. I mean, you could have shorted this 30 a bunch of times and got out here around flat. So, we'll keep our scalping hat on for now. If it breaks higher above, my target is that 144.50 basically area at this point. So let's see if we can get some more trades in on that. Carvana, by the way, I mean, we just did our trade of the day. We brought it back. And what did I say Carvana was going to do? I mean, if you guys remember what I was saying, it's just so stupid. I was talking about getting short and waiting for it. It didn't, it only went to 502 there. And now it's coming right into this level that I like. So I have a 480 break ready to go. So Carvana's coming back down here. I feel like you break this. It's going to be slow. I don't anticipate this to be very fast-moving stock, as you can see what Carvana is doing right now. We talked about getting short up here. I missed it. I have my offer right now at 509. We just missed it. The highest it got to was 504. Shouldn't have been so frugal with it. Should have just got in and got that. But right now you are bouncing off. If you like the long in Carvana, this is a great level as well, man. 485. It's bounced off there right here. Definitely made the bottom there, and now is bouncing one more time. So I would say watch out. I mean, I want to go short, so I'm going to watch out for that 480 to break. I'm just not sure if you want to be long this name into the weekend. That's all. What are the chances that it either gets downgraded again or gets upgraded with some positive news? I'm going to take the chance that maybe it gets downgraded again instead of upgraded. Let's see what happens with Carvana. And again, take your shots, man. I mean, you guys, we don't swing trade here. We just put on the shares, like I said, to get in and out at the end of the day. So for me, I like that Carvana move. And here comes Apple. You know what, honestly, man, whatever, I'll take an 11. I mean, at this point, it just bounced again off of 10 there and back in. So we're 35 cents in the money if I take a 10. So let's just do that and then see what happens as Tesla right now. Wow, that's starting to get going. If there's anything that's moving, it's going to be Tesla right now. Nice move up to 182. Again, I'm going to fade any of these moves up here. So 182 take. Let's go short here, man. 182 into 182.50. We're getting close to putting on short here for Tesla.
All right, guys, we got something special now. We're going to go through this chart. Now, I've got no trades clearly, but this is something that comes from Fahad.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, shoot.
Yeah. So I was sitting here.
Do you want to give away the strategy, though?
It's not about his strategy. It's about what he sees on the chart and how easy it is, right? So I was just sitting here minding my own business, and then he comes talking to me about trades and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yo, I can pick up, on the chart. I can see everything. I'm like, okay, look at this chart. Tell me where the support and resistance levels are.
I can see everything.
So this is the chart that he had at the time. This is a 5-minute chart of the S&P contract. I'm like, show me the support, show me the resistance. Where would you take your trades? He said, let me draw something right here, because the market bounced here before. Let me draw something right here. And where's the top? Let me draw something right here. So he's like, if it goes up here, I'm going to sell it. If it comes down here, I'm going to buy it. And then if it breaks, I'm going to sell it and take it to the next one. So what does he do? It came down. It bounced right off, right into his next level, stalled out, went past it, stalled out, came right back down, went down to his next level. And Fahad's like, see, I'm the best trader ever. And now here it is kind of doing a whole lot of nothing. So Fahad apparently called the futures guys, and I did the math on his call. It's about, overall, it's about 15 points.
Wow.
And I asked them too, I'm like, how much would you have taken on this? I'm just very curious.
This one took maximum.
He said, I would have taken $3 million worth.
Well, first of all, you would never have that much.
Which at 200,000 a piece on each of these contracts is about 15 contracts. 15 contracts for every point is about 750 times 15 points, clear.
Let's not do the math, bro.
Around 10 grand. So Fahad would have made 10 grand, guys, off the futures analysis when here I am watching World Cup and playing crude contracts. Man, Fahad, why did you just trade for me? I could have done much better than I did with these positions, because I'm pretty flat on the day. Well, not flat. I'm flat on equity. Obviously, I'm making money on the futures contracts, but still, Fahad killing it here in a quiet market, making 15, pulling 15 points out of stone here. Good job, Fahad. The greatest trader that never traded.
Trying to bite my tongue as much as I possibly can there. Yeah, you're welcome, Fahad. That was great. Great job by Fahad and by Arun. And that's the thing, man. That's what, the only thing is the only reason I sort of laugh there, not because of the call, it's a great call, and that's what it's all about, is that the 30 contracts thing or whatever contracts.
The 3 million, the 15 contracts?
Like, yeah, you know. So we do fund our traders, obviously. That's how it works on a prop floor through, it's not funding. It's not, there's no. Anyways, we'll talk about that after. But the main point about Fahad there is learning, right? And I think that's really important. He's day trading on his own account and everything like that. So the more we can get Fahad involved, the better I think it could be. And we actually talked about that because, we are going to set this guy up with an account. And I'm just going to confirm everything on Monday when we have our meeting. And we're going to make sure that it's okay.
It's entirely possible that, if everything goes well, I'm going to just go sit at my desk or whatever is left of my desk. I don't even know where my desk is anymore, but it's somewhere over there. And Fahad's going to sit here and trade with you guys on TMS if we have somebody else to switch. And that all obviously has to go through approvals and whatnot, compliance and your producer and whatever. But at the same time, you might see Fahad trading for you guys on screen on Monday.
We had the idea of Fahad trading before, but it was a true story what we told you. It's just that we need people to switch, and Fahad's actually the best switcher ever to be born, I think. There, look at that. Look how fast that is. Wow, he can push 2 buttons back to back there. This guy he's literally undefeated. Literally undefeated, this guy.
Fahad puts a lot of effort into his trades.
I have another story. I'll ask Fahad if I can tell. I can tell it. I'll ask you in the chat about that one because I have another story where we went to the basketball game. I will talk about that if and when that does get the approval. So I am waiting to short this name. Tesla, we're at 182. We're at 180, 180. If it goes back up, we'll try to trade that against that 182 level. We'll talk about that. But here we go. Now we have a downside move again in Apple. We just took a piece out at 11 or 12. So I'm going to wait now for Apple to fall back because we just did the range trade. Like it's range bound here, so we did take that trade. We took it out, now it's come back in, so now we can wait for the next level down, right? So just like Fahad was calling levels, we're gonna try to do the same thing right there on these futures right now at, on Apple, making it down to this next level, which I know it's not too far away. AMD also sort of barcoding. What else is moving here that we could talk about? Clover at 52-week lows today. Lucid at a 52-week low. Let's have a quick look at Lucid right now. 830. Yeah, this name's definitely wrecked right now as Lucid goes to the top side here. Trying to find a little battle here. Yeah. I mean, we need to trade names that are moving. Lucid's not going to be it. Yeah, AM. So that's one that was moving around this morning and has been this morning. Holy. I mean, all of these gaps that you're seeing in the chart are all halts. So it's just like, does anybody have a halt count? I don't know. Does that even exist, halt counters? But no. I mean, I'm not going to manually count this, but it's over and over and over again. This is not a tradable name for us here. Honestly, I mean, it's tradable. You guys can trade it. I don't know what the borrow costs are for the short, probably through the roof at this point. But it's kind of not moving. Is it halted right now?
That's the problem.
It's halted again. I was like, why is it not moving?
Name.
It's literally just halted again right there. So every single time this opens, it halts. So like, I'm not really sure what we would do on this kind of a trade here today. I feel like the trade's probably over for AM. Not to say it's over for the Monday, even the rest of the day today, but this is too hard to trade, man. And if you're gonna find some levels on AM, I mean, I guess it held the 50 period pretty good here. For me, technically, and this is why I give it to other traders out there, and I'm just throwing out Playmaker. There are there's a lot of you out there on chat that trade a lot of these runners. So you would know better than me what to look for on this, but just too many halts. Here it is on the 20 minute. I mean, that high is 4. I could do like the Neil trade and just like short when it gets here and then get out when it blasts. But honestly, I don't really see a trade there other than the reason I call that the Neil trade, just like play the momentum until it stops, wait for that peak and then short it. Like that's, definitely a good way to trade. You could see what happens here. This is how I lost over $10 million on AMC one day and I didn't actually. So before people were messaging me saying, oh my God, your wife is going to kill you, this and that. If I ever lost $10 million, I think, that would be at least a quarter of my net worth, right? So that's a big move to the downside. We don't want that happening. That's a joke. I mean, I'm not worth 40 million, am I, Arun? Who knows?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows, right? What is a human life worth? That's pretty much it. So, all right, we're going to make some downside moves there. But when it halts, what I'm getting at is this opens up like that. And one day our halt machine wasn't working and it wound up punching me out at some crazy, I don't even know how many shares I had, maybe 1,000 shares of AMC or something. But whatever that math was, the calculator literally stopped at 10 million. And that was the end of that one. And I was shut down the rest of the day. So that wasn't good until it got sorted out. And of course, there's dark pool prints and everything in the middle. So we didn't actually lose that. All right, let's go to trade now. Amazon down 1% right now. And I just want to look at that because we are finally moving. There it is. It's a nice move down here for AMD as well. AMD now $1 in the money on that trade. I thought Amazon was moving. Holy Arun, what are we going to do in this last hour and 15 minutes when charts look like this? I mean, Carvana just bounced off 480. I'm waiting for that. Well, at least we talked about Carvana going down there, so hopefully you guys had that. But really what's making the move here is AMD finally starting to break a little bit lower. We do have the short here on AMD, but again, like I'm not covering here. I mean, I could, but it's like I'm trying to play for a short here. Okay, you give me, are you in the futures at all? You're not in anything? What have you? I know you just ran down oil. What do you find yourself possibly going to be getting into any futures here, or is it just way too quiet? We're nowhere
Listen, if
near.
I wasn't on the show, I'd be gone.
What would you be doing on a Friday afternoon?
Friday afternoon? I don't know. I'd probably go for a walk. It's probably not. I mean,
So
like
eventful.
it's too early to do anything. I think, but I just wouldn't be here in front of the camera because in front of the screen because it's too easy to sit here and try to find a trade and try to just squeeze something out just because you're here. When in reality there may not be a proper trade to be made. So I think it's better off just to get away from the camera, or not the camera. I keep saying camera, but to get away from your desk and just kind of do something else because. To be fair, right now it's 2:45. If we're going to get any action, we're probably going to get action into the final half hour, maybe on a Friday, going into what could be one of the more active weeks of the month. So I think if anything, you would just rest up and be ready to go for next week because once we get to Tuesday, it's going to be hot. Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Friday. It's going to be interesting with all the rebalancing action, quad witching action that you're going to get on Friday as well. So a lot of activity next week. Today's not, you got to pick and choose your battles, right? Just like when you're married. Pick and choose your battles, and this may not be a battle that you want to get involved with just yet. So I would have backed off, and I am going to back off. I'm not going to step into anything. I'm actually going to, I've called it for the most part for now. I've called it a day, but I am going to go through your chats and see what you guys are.
Yeah, get some questions going.
Yeah, get some questions. Throw some questions in there. If you have it from me, for Fahad, for Shawn, whatever, I'll go through them, and maybe I'll look at some stocks and analyze them, whatever, as we go through. But for the most part, I think at this point, you got to shut it all down because the more you trade, let's just say, even if you come out ahead in terms of gross, you may lose money because of your fee structure, right? Depending on what you and the stress of it all, right? I mean, I've already lost. Oh man, my hair's growing back too. Damn, I gotta cut that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. I gotta shave my head too, probably. I'm gonna be going bald. But I like that. Is that Neil's thinking about? Are you trying to go pure scout? Yo, get that. Yo, Fahad.
I'm. Okay, so
wow, this man has honestly, like, I know he's undefeated, but like, did you see what Neil gets
put on the
pissed off?
I mean, I don't care, man.
It's like dealing with it. We're old.
I get it. We're old.
Old.
I don't really care because I'm.
Someone said this man looks like Jesus Christ the other day. I mean, this guy told me it literally took him a year to grow his hair like 14 feet to the ground there, and I actually believe him, to be honest with you. What can Fahad do?
He can grow his hair.
I mean, he can grow his hair. He's probably the best futures trader, period.
Yeah, you're going to see it on Monday.
Probably way better than equity, than me and Neil. I mean, this man is a machine.
He can probably trade and switch at the same time,
The best switcher of all time.
I mean,
the handles he has. I mean, Kyrie Irving, who's that?
I mean, Nike dropped Kyrie for him, apparently.
Apparently, him or John Morant. I wasn't sure which one it was, but
I mean, they're going to say John Morant, but deep down, there's like a hidden contract there with Fahad. In reality,
there's something there for sure. Yeah. I don't know, but
Fahad likes to stay behind the scenes,
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, he's now fully exposed there. That was funny. We had some good times with Fahad, and we'll have some more to come soon because I do like that. I want to go to the chat here quickly. Trader Gorno, he's been watching for a while. What's up, Trader Gorno? Yeah, I used to be worth $4 million. Then orthodontics hit. You are 100% right about that one.
Yeah, orthodontics are pricey.
So they ain't playing. And then guess what? I just got this message during lunchtime. So I was told the story yesterday that all four, well, we had Baxter too, but that he's in university right now. He probably needs glasses. But anyways, all four of us, my wife, my two kids, and myself, all went to the optometrist recently in the last month or so, because do you know that at school? Well, I mean, so I obviously got two kids in grade school. They do free optometrist checks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Cool. So, anyways, so they did that. Then we went to our own to get second opinion, and yeah, they do need some light prescriptions. And then here we go right now. My wife just picked up my daughter, and they went right. Notice in the background, who can tell me what store this is? Because your boy has everybody trained that we're going to shop at specific places to get the best deal. Don't ruin it. Everyone's going to know. I know you know where it is as well. But here she is right. Cherif, I said don't ruin it, my God. My man over there. But there she is right here. She picked out some glasses. I'm trying to see. I think they're $199. They're not very expensive. But anyways, now she's all set to go. And she phoned me right away as soon as she tried on the glasses and said, Daddy, I got glasses. And it's only going to take 5 business days and they're going to be ready and all this kind of stuff. But hey, bless her soul. She can have whatever the hell she wants as far as I'm concerned. But again, so we went from about 3 weeks ago to nobody having a pair of glasses to now all 4 of us, apparently. And she just they have to wear them when they are on their devices and when they're reading.
Okay.
So mine are for distance because, again, I mean, I can still see, but it's more for nighttime driving is what mine's for, and the wife again for reading as well. So yeah, they got all of our money, and she also has an orthodontist where she's just in phase 1 of braces, but that's what that is. So let's go, guys. You know, no problems for that. I'm wishing that you could have like twins and quads and triplets and all that kind of stuff.
Let me go to New York first, huh? Let me enjoy my traveling.
Yeah, exactly. Enjoy that. We are taking the kids to Rome this summer, so that should be.
When are you going, by the way?
I guess I should tell you. Yeah, you have to fill in at some point.
Well, it depends on when. It is. If you're hitting me up in August, I may not be around.
Maybe I'm not going. No, I think it's June something.
Oh, yeah, probably.
But I'm going to figure it's either the end of June. But you know what, Arun? The good thing about it is, and let's go bang, because we already did that little spiel there, that we are getting more hosts.
Yeah.
Like, as you can see every day, we have Obi sitting right behind us there. Wave, Obi. You're the only guy here, so what's up, Obi? There, so he's filled in for us, done a fantastic job as well. So we'll get some hosts going through, and I want to thank you one more time, Arun, and you know, wishing the best to everybody out there, family or not, anybody watching, to you and your loved ones. You know, have a great holiday season, and of course, we're not ending the show. Just wanted to say that because I just did talk about family, which you know means everything to me anyways. So, all right, let's go. Those are some trades. Man, did we miss that Tesla trade to the short side right there, because it did break down off that 181.50. We are, again, waiting for a little bit higher. I don't want to misstep, that's all. Like, if I'm going to take the short, I want to make sure that I have an out where the calculation makes sense. If we're not going to have a huge range today, then I'd rather short it at the top or long it at the bottom. It's about as easy as we can say that. 180 seems to be the bottom. So either we wait for that trade, which I think is a good one, 179.60. The only problem is I'm actually favoring a pull back here in the market today. We're under the 50 period, and it does seem like we're not going to take this 11,700. We could. And like Arun said, let's try to find some names that are moving around rather than just like, you know, trade in the middle here. It's kind of Neil likes that diddle in the middle. I don't really like that, so I'm going to avoid saying that. But if we do have a middle trade, and it's not, it comes from someone in one of our chat gave us that one. They also gave us barcoding when that was happening. But here goes Apple. I think we should take a piece out now, everybody. We are at that level one more time, so I'm going to sit on the bid. Hopefully we get hit there at 85. See, there's my scalping mentality again. Like, I could have just punched out 86, and as soon as I put my 85 bid, it jumps up. So let's see if it can fade back in, fill me at 85. We'll get paid on rebates. That's the other thing that you mentioned about over trading is fees, and I remember you mentioned that also to Fahad when he was over here. There it is. So there we go. We'll take that fill, and we get rebates. So when I'm sitting there, I'll choose I like to use ARCA the most, I think, out of all of them, but they all pay about $2 per every 1,000 shares. So if I sit there on the bid and take a 1,000 share fill, not only will we get the fill, but you'll also get a rebate in for that. And then every time we market in or limit in and remove liquidity, that fee can be between $3 to $4 roughly, depending on the gateway per 1,000. So it's not profitable venture to always be doing one versus the other. You have to have kind of a mix of both. When you're in trouble, hit the limit and pay the fee. And then when you can, get a rebate like that and save a little bit for every time you're punching out. And of course, you have a different problem on the futures because it's pay round trip.
There's no credits. No credits at all. You can't go through ARCA and get a credit. You've got to pay for entry for each contract and pay for exit as well. So round trip, you got to pay for it. All right, questions. Somebody was asking, what are the timeframes that I use for my futures trading? It's the same as my equity. I just prefer futures just because of the movement. All right, so first thing I do, always go to the daily. Right, regardless of what the market is, go to the daily, see where your levels are. Then you break it down. Once you figure out where the levels you want to work with are, you go down to the 30 to get a much bigger picture. Well, a much smaller picture, but still on a wider time frame. Because once I figure out what the 30 wants to do and it can be precise, then I go down to the 5 to hit the timing aspect of it. So daily to figure out what the macro level is, 30 to figure out what the multi-day level is, and then the 5-minute for timing of trades, depending on where you're going. Obviously, this market hasn't really given you a whole lot. If you go back to the 30 here, you can see that, I mean, it's been trending, and then we got that report, and boom, to the bottom, right? Yesterday was, for the most part, it was sideways right above that previous, what is that, 60 and change area. And then keep in mind, on Monday, these levels are going to be different. This is based on the December contract, right? So what I'm going to do for Monday when I roll over, and the rollovers happen, that's why I'm not using the consolidated contract, which you might see in the top left. It says ESZ22 because I need to see the December contract, because if I went for the consolidated, which in this platform is ES pound F, it's going to give me this gap, right? That's from the rollover aspect of things. So once we get to Monday, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of go to the chart and do this. I'm still going to use the daily, but when I get to the 30-minute, I'm going to try and ignore everything before then. Just worry about the last couple days, so it'll be Friday and then Monday. But on the daily, it'll kind of show its gap and whatnot, and we can figure that out later. It's not going to make a big difference on the daily, but on the multi-day, it will. So that's how I go about it. The daily, then the 30, then the 5 for timing. And this also ties into another question is from Lewis. Do traders on the floor make trades based on support levels or indicators? That's a good question to ask the guys who train them. So I would ask Brankles, I would ask Greg. I have no clue. I know everyone has their own strategy. I know that everyone does their own thing. But I would just be, like, whatever the approach is. Like, they were wondering, like, what approach do they use when they trade, the guys on the floor? Do they use support resistance? Do they use EMA? Do they use crossovers? Stuff like that. It all depends on each trader. They have their own strategies, and I'm sure that Greg also knows common ones as well, or Brankles knows some common ones as well. So I think save that question for those guys because they know a lot more than I do about this. Cherif.
Yeah, guys, can't really find a catalyst for this one, but BZUN up a quiet 15.25% on the day. I got into this one. Haven't really been able to trade much on the day because it is my first day up at the big desk, but I got in this one around 1 o'clock at that 572 area, and I've just been scalping out like every 10 pennies or so. This one looking to test 6. Again, can't really find a catalyst. Looking back, the earliest I can see is December 1st. It looks like they had an earnings of some sort there, but BZUN quietly moving up, guys.
Yep. Good call there. And again, thanks again for all that stuff here today, Cherif, for filling in. It ain't an easy job, needless to say there for sure. All right, so yeah, just to talk about what Arun said there, I'm going to talk more about trading as well. I just wanted to look to see what was printing here on this. So AMD did come back down. Yeah, basically how the training and everything works here is like we have a simulator account that can replicate. It's not exactly like live, but it's pretty darn close. So we can replicate fills and the charts and all that. It's just, but paper trading. So that's what we suggest to everybody is try to come up with your own ideas and then paper trade them and then start adding like, more complicated things. Arun and I basically using moving averages. We've already talked about some of that. I use a 200, a 50, and a VWAP, which is the blue line there. So that's what I use. But okay, let's just go back over to some trades. So it's a good out for us for sure on Apple. I mean, not for sure. It's at 95. We got an 84 out. So that was, or 85 out. So that was pretty good. You guys saw me take that one. Let's go over to Carvana again. Look where Carvana bounced. And again, it's not like I play off support and resistance a lot. I mean, Carvana goes right back into that level. We could be long there. We're not. But here, you know what? Here we go. I like the short. Like normally I would play it off this 200 right now on Carvana. Maybe we should just do that. It's at a level of 0304. We can play this up to 10. Let's try that right now. Tesla's trying to make a little bit of a move back up through 181 right now. But Carvana, okay, we'll try this position here. Let's try it. We'll average it in if we have to. Let's try to take some Carvana short here around 0102. Take it up to 05. If it breaks 10, something like that, then there it goes. It just rips through 01 and fills us, but that's fine. So again, we get the rebates for sitting there, getting short. So we just make that, if I have 1,000 shares, it's $2 now. And what you could do as a strategy, if Carvana is just going back and forth, now I go short and it wants to do this. So here we go. Now it's starting to go back up to the upside. So now that we're filled, finally in an active position right now, normally I'd rather go short against the 200, not at the 200, because that is a trend changing spot for that, which is why we kind of look at it like here, you want to go long into it so it doesn't break it and then it bounces up. When it breaks is when you sort of have, I mean, it breaks here and dances, but that's kind of the thing. Now you're trying to break again right now. So there is some dipping down areas there, 480, 490, that we'd hope for it to come into. But now that I see this, honestly, we don't have too many shares. We could average into this, but this is how I get into trouble now, thinking like, you know what? Like however many shares I have, I could double it, and then next thing you know, the loss is a little bigger than you'd hope for. So I'm gonna play off that wick. I'm not even gonna give it to view up. That wick is 13, so if we break up above 13 or so, then we're gonna watch out for Carvana with another reload here at about 09. So if Carvana comes up to 09, we'll reload it. We're short at, like I'm talking like this, we're short at 025. So I could bid out and be flat there, but we're not going to do that. 025. I will take a piece out if we come back in to some of these levels. So like 97, 98, I think is a decent out for Carvana. We're going to give this one what I said, about 10 cents upside. So let's look for 10 cents downside on CVNA here.
Yeah, AM. I see your rolling records asking about AM halted. I mean, it's
Again?
It's been halting up. I hope you're long here because it is. Apparently halting up now as it moves through. It's been halting all day. That's the only issue, right? And a lot of stocks that do this stuff, when they quiet down towards the end of the day, they get a little extra with things, right? So we might see some movement here all the way up back towards that 4. As of right now, projected open is going to be 355. So pretty much where it closed. Doesn't look like there's going to be much of a difference, but it just halted, right, from what I understand. So that number is going to change as we get closer to the opening prior open. I imagine it's a volatility HUD, so 10% would put it. Wait, why would it halt here? 5 cents, 340, 15 cents. It shouldn't have halted at 15 cents.
No, I don't understand why it's halting over and over and over again. It's broken. There's something wrong with it.
It's 10%. It's 10% in 5 minutes,
Yeah,
right? That's a halt rule, right?
That's what it's supposed to be. It's like, so it needs to move 40 cents if it's, or how much is it?
34 cents from 340. That would put you the halt at 74. I don't know. Let me go see what the NASDAQ trading page says regarding this halt.
There's not much to do. It's gonna, go have a look to see what it says, because honestly, it's not supposed to be like that. That BZUN, I mean, that was a name here that's BOVESPA. It's a NASDAQ name? I thought it was a New York name. Oh no, it's a NASDAQ name, okay. Again, this is another Chinese name. This is an ADR. I remember this name from a while ago, man. This is definitely a mover for sure. I'm going to take 3 cents on Carvana, just a piece, and then we'll hold to the downside as well. This is, you know what? Forget it. Let's just hold out. I'm not going to take $5. Let Carvana break it. So if I recall this name correctly, I feel like you're going to see some crazy moves here. Yeah, wow, 21 down to $3. Like at some point, these names are going to go. It's just you got to watch out for them. They're pretty dangerous when it starts to move around like this. That's for sure. But there it is, nice little move up to $6. If you're going to look for any sort of support or resistance levels, I would say 650 could be something right there. But BZUN just continues to churn higher here. This is what it looks like on the minute chart. Just very, very nice. Just riding this 50 period. And again, we talked about trend changing on the 200. That's down here. That's more for like holding for, you're on an Apple or something and you're like, okay, where is a level where I may want to get out? Like if you were short and you just didn't want to cover right there, these are good cover spots. I like this to maybe say this is maybe where you start to go short once you start to break. So as you can see, the 50 period really since the morning hasn't really broken. I mean, I don't really consider this a break. I mean, it does break, but you got to give it some legs, right? And if you take a false break on a 50 period like this, just get back out when it breaks it back to the upside. You just hope that it doesn't happen too frequently so that you're like boo-doo-doo-doo and getting out and costing yourself fees and headaches and stuff like that. So that is BZUN. Thanks for that update right there. Cherif, like I said, this guy just killing it over there. Brendan, watch out, my guy. Watch out, Brendan.
AMM is going to halt to the downside now at 350.
AMM is halting again.
To the downside at 350. So rolling records, one thing I would do if you're not already out is use a on open exit. So if you're long, sell on open. So sell market on open. That'll get you out with the opening price of the halt. So if you were selling off the open, you would have gotten out at 364. It's a market on open, or you can even use a limit on open, but it has to be an on open tag for your exit. Whether you have that through your broker, or if you're maybe one of our guys from one of the other floors, definitely use the on open order tag to get out, so you can actually get printed off the opening price, and then you don't have to deal with this, because sometimes it can be difficult to you see it opens at 65 and goes to 50 and halts, and it's like I'm pretty sure it's 10% for within 5 minutes, but this being a ADS, it may have different rules, and I'm trying to figure out if there actually are different rules for ADSs versus just normal North American equity shares. So It does seem like this is unusual. It seems like they're not even doing that 10%. They're doing a 5% rule, which makes things that much tighter if you are in position, because 5% of a $3 name is not that much. This stock can clear that as soon as it opens, and that's what you're seeing here today as it goes through. So definitely use that on open. If you really want to get out and you don't want to deal with this nonsense, just on open, order, market on open, dump it, and they'll print you at the open when it does come out of the halt.
All right, yeah, I mean, that's the advice that I was giving before. Like, the only way really to get in and out of that thing is get that liquidity when it opens and make sure that you're there for that. So that's really the only way to do it. I mean, and right now, I mean, you could do it lots of other ways, but that's the safest way. That way it guarantees you a fill. Thanks for answering that question. I feel like AMD, again, it just ticked down to 45 again or whatever. That's been the bottom. I mean, if you guys want to trade this name today, I feel like you're just going to have to range bound this one. I'm just going to stay in it. We've already clapped it all out. We only have 10%, not a big position. The biggest position for me is our most recent one. It's Carvana. That did dip down to 5 again. We could have got it out, but like I said, we're short at 0.250, you know, so that's like 3. We're short at 3. I mean, the range right now, I just don't want to take 3 cents. I mean, that's all, so I'm not going to do it. We're going to wait down here. I did put a bid, though. I think I put a bid at 98, right? No, I actually put one at 97. So let's see. Hopefully we can come down here, test 98. I'll be sitting at 97. We'll get the fill. 6 cents or so is fine for that. That's 1%. It's only a $5 name. So we, you know, put that in there and take it if we can. And then we'll work down here near 490, hopefully for Carvana. And then if you guys are on this trade with me, I am going to take it out if we take out this 513, 14, 15 area, something like that in there for CVNA. Just don't need to be in it. And I'm going to average, take one more fill at 09. So that may be my average price. When we take the 09 fill, we're short at 3. 09, we're going to take equal increments. So both of these are equal short at 01, equal short at 03, giving me this 025 half. Or sorry, we've got a 5 and a 3, I guess, giving me 02 half. And then now we'll take another one at 9. That should give us an average price of about 6. That way, if we get out, it's a dime, which should bring us all the way back here to at least make that much if it does fall back in. So you want to try to have your trades at least 1-to-1 right now. And if they don't make any sense, then you want to back away from it. Clover at 52-week lows. We can have a quick look at that one. I feel like it's barcoding, but I'm just noticing here, it just hit the scanner at 52-week lows of 116. So that's, our charts are even already on vacation here. Wow, okay, look how this looks. This is, do you have that barcode scanner right now? This is what Clover looks like today. Very, very hard to trade this with not much going on. So sorry, it just showed up on a scanner there for 52-week break. So it's breaking, but it's not doing much. Good out for us on Apple. As you can see, the market is coming back upside a little bit. We could talk a little bit about Momo. Let's go for on that one. This is a name that we've been in all day, man. We took it early, not early enough. It was 10 o'clock. We missed this whole run up from 7 to 9. But we took it at, what am I long at right now? It's the same price, 9.05. Our first out there is 15. That's 10 cents. Our next out is 25. That's 20 cents. And right now, I'm just waiting to see, just like that BZUN, just like some AMAM, just like PHVS, maybe it does have one more move into it. And if it does, I don't even have an offer. Let's see if we can get this around 930, 940. That's Momo. We are along that name. Carvana's doing nothing. And that's about it, Arun. Just kind of sitting here waiting for this market to make a move.
Yeah, you just got me rolling records. You just got me very curious about the halt rules on why it was going at 5%, and I kind of pulled up the FAQ from the SEC here, and it's actually part of their tiered system apparently. So tier 1 securities, and I'll just pull this out for you guys. Actually, that's not it. I'll pull this out for you. I'm sure you can find this as well. So they have a tiered system here. Anything north of $3 that's in the tier 1 has a 5% band. If it's a tier 2 NMS, then it has a 10% band. So there you go. I tend not to look at names this in terms of this price point.
Now the market's
but
going.
it does look like there is a 5% band that's active at the moment on AMAM. So that's why it's doing what it's doing. Just to clarify things, I mean, I had no clue. I always think that it's always 10%, but it's not. It's based on prices. It's based on what tier security it is. There's all these things that you got to pay attention to. And there you go. There's the explanation on that. Futures market catching a bid here, north of 60. It's not even that surprising anymore because we're just stuck in a range. We're just stuck in this range here, not doing a whole lot. you're not going to get much done here as this market just goes sideways, catches the bid in the high 50s, catches an offer around the low 70s, and you just gotta, if you're good at it, you play ping pong. If not, you stay away. I'm not good at it, so I just stay away from it. And that's the wrong contract. That's the right contract as we kind of just bounce around here. So it does look like this is going to be a lackluster close. The final, this is supposed to be power hour, right? Not much. As we kind of continue on going near and doing a whole lot of nothing. Somebody asking, the March contract's nearing 4,000, but I thought we crossed and above and below 4,000. Here's the problem with 4,000. It's good if you're getting it to the first time, if you're getting to it the first time. We started this day on the March contract up at 40.20, fell through, went to 4,000 like 2 or 3 times, bounced off, got above. At this point, 4,000 kind of has lost its significance. Once it gets far away from it, then people would start using it again as like, this big round number that people may want to put stops under or above. But it's only really, I find those big round numbers, and when I say big round numbers, I'm talking about the every hundreds and every 50. So 39.50, 3,900, 38.50, 3,800, going on down every 50 points essentially. Those are the big round numbers I would look at in terms of like stop placement, right? Everything else in between you can kind of figure out. Every 10 could be a potential location to put stops as well. But it's just around 50s and around hundreds. When we get to it the very first time, I'm always going to watch it because there's usually stops that sit there. It makes perfect sense. It's a round number. When we cross back and forth so many times, it kind of just loses its value, I guess, unless we get far away from it. And the market's got to miss it a little bit.
Look at the market just went top and bottom again.
Yeah, well, I mean, 65 to 60, back to the range, right? I mean, when you look at it, this is kind of what we're
doing nothing.
Yeah, it's doing nothing. It's like when you really look at the screen, you're like, oh, it went 5 points. But then you look at the bigger chart, you're like, yeah, I just kind of went from here to here. And we're just stuck in the middle here, doing a whole lot of nothing. So I don't think we're going to get much here. AM is just still doing its thing. I think the big story is crude. Damn, crude. So we were short, obviously, earlier, and you guys saw me in that trade earlier, short here. And I was looking for that 70 break. It bounced north of 70.5. I got out at north of 70.60, locking about 30 cents and change. I think what that sets up is the daily or the multi-day. Forget the daily. The multi-day move on crude now. Crude is going to be very interesting come Monday. Why? We have to make a move at this point. We either are going to fail through this, come back underneath 71 and take a shot at 70, or we're going to completely reverse this, break 73, and then to make a move towards 75, 76 and change. So there has to be some sort of completion to whatever this last minute rally was, because we did rally in the last little bit there, because I think I was short pretty much all day, well, since we broke until about 2020. Yeah, it was about 22, 23 when we started that rally. With about 6 minutes left before the pit session closed, we just took off, right? And that's usually what happens when it comes to the end of the pit session. Everyone gets a little frisky. Everyone gets, antsy. They make their moves. If they've taken a ride on the short side for the crude move, then they may want to all get out before the pit session closes. I'm not sure why everyone rushes for the 2:30 close if you're, an intraday trader, but obviously that has more significance if you're running much bigger size and you're doing hedges and all that other big stuff. I understand where the volume is coming from, but I'm saying in terms of actual activity, you can hold on because it's still trading right now. It's the electronic contract is still going on. It falls under Globex, so it's still trading for the moment, and that's why you might see it still ticking up and down through these 63s and 62s. But for now, crude's got to make a move at some point in the next little bit before we get to Monday's close, either breaking through 73 or breaking back under 71 to open up the short once again.
So I was just looking at this. We're just going up and down here. So I'm going to take this out of AMD if we get like a 46 or so fill. It's so stupid because I bid 43 and then just watching it go against me there. Should have punched out. We're just at the bottom again. It's kind of like what we just talked about before, right? I just said it went up and down. I mean, look at the NASDAQ here. Like it goes to the top of the range and then 2 minutes later, it's right back to the bottom of the range again. So, I mean, if this is not a market for you, I don't blame you. It's very, very tough right now. Even Carvana went to 5. Now it's back up to 505. Some of these names are just dancing right now, back and forth, back and forth. So I'm going to take this bid. If we get back into here, that bottom was, I don't know why I was waiting at the very bottom there, 42, but we're going to see if we can do this now and grab this fill on the downside right now at 46. for AMD. So here we go. We'll see if we can get a little piece and then we'll cancel the rest because we don't need the stop order up top anymore. I'm just going to take this out. We're already short Apple. I want to take at least advantage of this name, although AMD's down 1.4%. So that's maybe why it's pulling down a little bit more than Apple. So that's leading me to think like, okay, let's get out of AMD and then, deal with Apple as the market moves. So this is already weaker to the market. So let's take advantage of this move. It's making a move down. There it is. So we close our trade there. That was $1. No, that was 98 cents, sorry, there on AMD to close that trade. So, hey, man, took it. We did get stopped out. We're here to tell you that. But we took it back in again. I was like, oh, man, I cannot believe we got stopped out there. Some tops there. And it happened at lunchtime as well. Absorbing those tops. So we're getting short here at 70.50 there, 70.25. So our average price, I think you just saw it, 35 or so. So we're taking that for 30 cents. So this downside move was pretty good, man. We're capturing more than 30 cents on the downside. That 70.20s is some of our outs. And then boom, 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 boom. And the last one happens right now. To end of the day for AMD, I mean, I could get back into it. I doubt it. So we'll move off of AMD right now. Carvana we've talked about. Apple, again, not really doing too much, but I'm going to hold out for this. I actually want to get more short in Apple if we do come up to 30, 35 again against 50. So that's going to be a trade that I'm looking to put on. And then I'm just going to ask you guys, what are we missing? Apple, Microsoft, yeah, we're already looking at that. Sorry, Ashtosh. I mean, I love those names too, man. That's what I'm in at right now. Amazon is trying to do something. What's up, Manuel? Manuel, thank you so much for that. AMZN. We'll have a quick look there. Yeah, I mean, I guess Amazon's up. Whoops. I guess Amazon's up to something. Not really.
Not really. No.
Back up to the top there as I look over at Arun. And sometimes Arun says, Shawn, you got to look at a larger time frame. So here's a 3-minute for Amazon. Still not really. So we're going to pass on that. I wish we were at some key levels for things, guys. Mullins, 19 cents. Tesla, we've already got our idea for Tesla, 182 short, if that comes in, or 180 long, if you really like that one. We've made money on Tesla today. It's not my number one stock. My number one stock is Apple. But yeah, Tesla's been a good one for us today. Made money, not as much as we should have. We did have that first long at 180, broke that up to 182.50. Our best out there was only $1. Then we took 50 cents there on that out. Then we tried the long again, took it, tried it one more time and lost. So we're going to be one for one, because that's the closing of that trade right here. Then another one there, and we'll see if we can make some money on the end of this trade. If it does come up to 182, I like the short. I'm not going to take the 180. I'm just biased short right now. I don't really know why that is. The market is now above the 50 period. Maybe we just need to slow down and kind of not do too much unless we see some outsized moves. Remember, Arun, we do have the imbalances coming. It is a Friday here. I was going to say the first Friday of December, but that would be incorrect. The second one, so relatively muted now. And remember, next week, get ready for, we used to have fireworks on here. Let's just get ready for a bang week, because next week, there's going to be no chance in, that me and Arun or me and Neil sitting here with this kind of lackluster moves next week. Yeah. We do Monday, maybe. Possibly, that's me and you again. Yeah, but then Tuesday's CPI, Wednesday at this time, man, Powell's still going to be on the stand. Yep. So we're going to wait to see what Fed Chair Jerome Powell has to say on Wednesday when they come with that. Oh, we never got the Fed rates tool. So let's do that. I'll go find it. CME rate tool, and let's go find out what the odds are right now.
I checked it this morning, but it was too early. No, it's too early though. They hadn't updated yet. I feel like it's still 77, huge. 75, 77%.
Yeah, higher now. So right now we're at 77% for 50 points. So that's good, because right now the fund futures rate is 375 to 4.4. So you're going to get 425 to 450, which would be a 50% increase, 50 bips raise. So you're going to get 0.5, it looks like. This has not been wrong for a very long time, honestly. Whatever, and it'll get closer to 100, I'm assuming, as we get closer to the day, unless there's more uncertainty. So if we get, this is deadly. If we get 75, the market probably goes back to bottoms, is what I'm going to.
It won't like that. No one's expecting that.
The market will not like that. So if we get 75 points on Wednesday, it's a problem. Just Google Fed fund rates and then use the CME tool. Investing.com has one. I think pretty much
I just go right to CME because
That's what
CME is a
tool is.
source, right?
Yep,
Just
that's
go
what
right
that
to their website and come and figure that out. Talking about sources, somebody was asking why do some systems not why are they using the December contract and not the March contract? Volume. Not everyone rolls on the Friday. Most people, if anything, you can see it from the volume difference. Let me pull up the volume disparity here, of even our system here. This is the March contract, 700,000, 706K traded, and the December contract is at 882. So not everyone rolls over on the Friday. Like I didn't roll over on, although the roll happened, the official lead month is now March. I'm not rolling over until Monday because I know volume tends to take. Today's like a transition day, and that's why I always I'm not a fan of trading these days on the futures. Transition day splits the volume between two contracts. People are looking at now at two separate two separate sets of levels. People are marking off the March contract levels. More people are marking off still the December contract levels, and it just really gets confusing. And volume tends to kind of just be somewhat. It's more often like this than not, where it tends to be somewhat split and sideways, if anything. I'm surprised we got some movement as much as we did with the two numbers there, specifically the PPI this morning there. But here we are kind of waiting for this mark. As of today, this will be the last time the Z contract should be traded. On Monday, the H contract will take all the volume. Everyone rolls over. I'll be on the H contract as well. So we'll be looking at that one. If you're ever wondering how the settlement procedures are, go on CME, go into their E-mini futures contract, this is Z, and you can figure out what their calendar looks like. And the last trade is December 16th of this year. That means next Friday, that's the date where it expires. So nobody wants to be trading the Z contract going into expirations because the majority of people that are trading it don't want to take delivery, right? So I mean, delivery is cash settled in this case. So nobody wants to deal with that mess. So if you are trading futures, be aware of your rollover dates, because the last thing you want to do, especially if you're trading crude or any sort of commodity contract, is not knowing what your rollover date is, and you end up trading it and accidentally holding on going into settlement. So you don't want to deal with that mess. So always be aware of what your rollover dates are if you are on the futures. So always go through CME. I imagine most people are on CME contracts of some sort. So if you're on commodities or whatnot, even on crude. Crude has a different calendar. They do like some sort of fancy, it's on the 25th of every month unless it lands on a Saturday, in which case it's 3 days. If it lands on a Friday, it's like 2 days. It's some weird thing. You can go through the expiration, go through the specs portion, and you can figure out the expiration. It's like right here of how and when it expires. Always know that. Know the rules of the game that you're playing. And if you're trading the futures, you should know the rules of the game you're playing and what the times of when you can play are. So we know futures contracts are, we stop at 4, but they do go until 5 p.m. if you really needed to take it that far after the equity market has closed. They're closed for an hour between 5 and 6. And then they're open up again on Globex from 6 p.m. until the following day, 5 p.m. So that's all it is. Just it's a lot of people, this kind of scares a lot of people. The ability to, or knowing all of this, having to know all of this, and that's fair. You can always trade an ETF, but if you know the rules, it shouldn't be a problem at all, right? If you know when it expires, what the trading hours are, what the leverage points are. If you go on this website, we know that crude contract, it says right here, 0.01 per barrel is $10. So it's about $10 per penny for the contract. So if it moves, in my case earlier, we were short 98, we got out in the 60s, so it's about 35 cents or so. 35 times 10 times the amount of contracts is what you're making on that move to the upside or to the downside in today's case. So the hours are here, everything's here, margin requirements are here if you need as well. Go through your broker. They probably have much higher requirements than the CME does because, well, each broker wants to protect themselves too because, again, it's a leveraged product, right? ES is 50 times levered. So just be aware of what you're getting yourself into if you do decide to take that kind of a shot.
And I do also want to remind everybody that if you are not in the futures game, or maybe your broker doesn't have, the ability to do all that kind of stuff, you can trade SPY, which is the SPY, which trades like an equity, and you should have very similar fees. In fact, a lot of ETFs, some trading platforms will give you free trades on ETFs. So that would be SPY.am, which is on the NYSE American. You guys can look that stuff up, or you can go with the Qs, the triple Qs on the NASDAQ if you wanted to find a NASDAQ name, looking at the NASDAQ 100. So that would be very, very similar, of course, as well, as Arun was just mentioning there. So yeah, a couple good things to look at there for sure as we go. I'm just getting some orders set up because I'm watching out for Apple. Apple now 70 cents in the money with a nice little move to the downside. It looks like we may have gotten out of our AMD incorrectly, because look at this move all the way to the downside. So congratulations, anybody that still has this trade on board. Glad that we talked about the short there on this name, but it is still a big time downside move here for AMD. Right now, I'm not in it, so nothing to talk about there. Apple, we already talked about. That's been a nice little downside move as well, so we're going to watch out for that one. And then our Carvana is not doing anything right now, so that's going to be one that we're going to have to wait for. CVNA, hopefully that can break to the downside now. I'm just waiting for a 5 break. I think once it breaks 5, we will get our 97, so that's, my eyes are looking at that right now as well. Hopefully that does come through. I'm thinking it does. That's going to be a 97, Phil, on Carvana, but we have to break 5 first. And when we do that, I think the floodgates, I don't want to say floodgates because I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it opens up to 490. So if that does come through, that's going to be a trade that I'm going to be looking for. And Apple's still working, man. That's a good one. Looking back at Tesla, we're not in that, but that's breaking through 180. I told you that I was biased short, so I'm not going to take the long right now. The short seems to be working, so I'm glad that we talked a little bit about that as the ES now breaking. I mean, it's nowhere near breaking any levels, but we are down near the bottom of the day of the range right now on the ES at least. So just like the NASDAQ, we are just bouncing, but we're at the bottom. So I think it's worth taking some profit on some of these shorts. As here we go, man. Yes, too bad about AMD. That was, we got to take profit. I don't have that crystal ball, which I wish I did, but we are doing pretty good damage here on Apple, as that is also breaking lower, taking down hopefully view up, and then the rest will come after that. Hopefully Apple can give some back here as we get ready to close out our positions here today. And then our Momo, I mean, my stop order's right here. We break 80. It's been there pretty much all day. So let's just wait for that. If it breaks this 80 level, we're out of Momo. The VWAP's down here at 75. I honestly don't care about 5 cents at this point. It's actually, the bottom is actually 83. So I am giving this a little bit more. So let's wait to see $8.83. My favorite viewer of all time is that Jocelyn who came here. You know why? Because when she met me, she said, "You look a lot younger in person." And I was
That's all it takes, eh, Shawn?
That's it. You my favorite now.
Let me just dye my beard, right?
That's what I said. Well, dye it. Yeah, I got to get that figured out as well. You got the cash money beard, man. I can't really do. You and Cherif.
Yeah, Cherif's looking real fresh, right? You can tell like he really puts in some work on his beard. But yeah,
you put some beard oil in that bad boy.
Oh yeah,
Cherif?
for sure. Face cream. Do you do that on the regular? Do you do that on the regular?
I started here.
Oh, damn. Okay. He does face cream. I do beard balm. I mean, to each their own, as long as it works.
It gets the shiny effect. Look at you guys, man. You guys are all about TV, eh? You guys, I like that. Get that shiny effect on your beard. Get that beard game going. It's just so crazy. Like, why do we not have a beard what? I mean, who do you? I mean, I guess it's just
a what? A beard? What?
I was gonna say, like, is there a more famous beard product? Like, they should be sponsoring us, is what I'm trying to get at here.
Oh, we did have Manscaped that one time.
We did have Manscaped. That's not for necessarily beards.
Rocky Mountain Barber. I use your stuff.
There we go.
You want to send me
there
some
we
stuff?
Go. That's what I'm saying.
Me and Cherif got you guys. If you guys want to send us some
I'm
stuff.
not.
The sandalwood beard balm. I'm all for that. Send that to me, please.
Right. So shout out. I mean, this is why I said, like, we could wear many hats here, including sales hats and things like that. So Arun, you might not want to work on the show here full time. How about sales?
No.
Still pass.
I mean, this is like one of those things where it's just like,
damn you, Arun. We've already got Katrina.
Listen, you guys are training up your people that are coming on to co-host. I don't know how much longer I'm going to last as these guys come in and take over.
I thought we were going to give you a full-time contract to host the show.
Oh, you've tried. You guys have tried to give me a full-time contract.
Damn it.
It hasn't gone that well.
I know. Everybody in the chat loves you, man. Yo, put up some ones in the chat or something if you want Arun to be here full-time. Watch this, Arun.
Yeah.
But you already know everybody loves you, so it doesn't really matter. Look, guys, don't add Neil, myself, whatever. Brendan, we know. We want Arun here. All right, now, why did I do that? Now the chat is. Okay. See, Arun?
I was going to say, it's a little slow. I mean, I guess I'm right.
It takes, no, because there's a delay. So right now, let's do that right now. It's 3:28. 25, 3:28, 26, 27, 28. We do not delay the stream whatsoever. If you do have a delay, so it's 3:28:35 right now. If you do have a delay, maybe refresh or post it there in the chat, because I think it was like Las Vegas and California. They're about 3 to 5 seconds behind on the East Coast. It's whatever YouTube does. We do not put anything. I don't know if we any bumpers or speed bumps, as they say here in our business as well, in there into the chat or into the feed. So thank you again, guys. It's still going, man. Multiple ones. Only 750 likes. I mean, if you guys can get to 1,500, Arun will wrap and everything. You're sitting in Neil's spot.
Yeah, well, Neil hasn't wrapped in his spot in a while.
They've asked for me to rap, but honestly, I'm already under contract with Shady Records. I can't just rap on the show here. We got to get that all figured out as well on the contractual side of things. Okay, here goes Carvana. We did take an O fill because honestly, I didn't want to do it, but it was just bouncing around. So we did take an amazing 3 pennies out for 10%. I do have a bigger order for 20% of my fill down there at 497. Hopefully that can come in and we can get that fill, and then we'll just move on the downside, hopefully, for Carvana. We talked about shorting this. At least the short is right. It's just a matter of not having like the best prices. You could have had 5, 6, 7 there. I mean, it might not be right. I don't know. We need to get more fills for this to be right. If we take another fill at 97, then we will be out of 30% of this, and then we can hopefully wait for a downside push. But there it is. Yeah. What did I say, man? Didn't I say as soon as 5 broke, we should flush down? So here it is, Carvana, man. All right, so that's going to be a good trade for us. AMD was a monster trade for us. We're out of it, but that was a good one on the short side of things. And then Apple, all I've been doing is say, hold your shorts. So far, like Bart Simpson says, eat my shorts. My kids, unfortunately, Simpsons, I don't know if they're still around, but
I think they are.
I feel like they are.
Maybe,
my kids are a little too young to watch that, but I do feel, well, they've watched a couple episodes. Maybe I'm going to find a Christmas episode. That seems like wholesome for them, so probably not, but we'll see if there's any Simpsons. I mean, whatever, man. They play Roblox and all that stuff, so I don't know. Santa Claus, I think we're watching Christmas Chronicles 2 or something we want to watch tonight. I don't know, something like that. But that's what's on my docket tonight, some Christmas movies. We try to get them all done. We've already watched, my pick was National Lampoons, so we watched that. You can't have Christmas without that in my house, that's for sure. We've watched that new one on Apple TV called Spirited, which I kind of got duped into that. It was Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, but it was a little bit of a musical. I wasn't aware of that, but still a good time. My kids really like that one. We've watched the old Burl Ives Rudolph. That's been fantastic. That's one of the all-time favorites, of course. What did we watch? Oh, we watched 4 Christmases. Have you seen that? That was with Vince Vaughn.
I feel like I did. Yeah, that name sounds very familiar.
Yeah. It's where basically both their parents are divorced. Okay. And they have to visit all 4 in one day.
Okay.
And they don't normally do that, so it's through the trials and tribulations of that. That was a good Christmas movie. But yeah, we'll probably watch the Peanuts one as well, and a bunch of stuff like that. So that's what's up. Is there any sort of traditions that you have or your family?
Not really. I mean, Christmas is just, it has been somewhat at least this year, my wife just wanted to get a little bit more involved. She's not so much as like celebrating Christmas, just more so for the festive spirit, I guess.
Yeah.
So she's been like wanting to get a tree. So we finally got a tree, and we put it up a certain way and whatnot, and she's decorated. She's very happy with it. So that's kind of what we're doing this year. But again, we're heading to New York for Christmas. Oh yeah, there you go.
This was me getting a tree as well.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
You're going to New York for Christmas, you were saying.
Just a week before Christmas.
We chopped down our own tree.
Oh, nice. That's a lot of work.
Oh, you never saw this?
No.
Yeah, we went there, and there we go. She picked the tree out, decent. Got the old axe. Saw started going. My son was doing it. We were in there doing it. The worst part is getting those things in your face as you're cutting it. Timber goes to the downside, and there it is right there. Yeah, celebrating. We did get our tree. He wanted to carry it. That didn't last too long. There it is on top of the truck, and we got that, and it was a good one there. I was wearing like 10 layers when it wasn't even that cold out, so that was really fun. Follow me on Instagram. Oh, that was another thing that Jocelyn said. She wasn't close to doing this. There are so many scam accounts out there that, please, she was telling me that, like, she gets contacted almost daily, weekly by fake Shawn, fake Niels and all that. Please, guys, we will never send you requests for capital or anything like that. Do not answer any of those, and indeed block them. Please don't even, play around with them if you want, but please, we're not sending out requests for capital or anything like that. We're well funded, and we don't have any trading ideas to share with you other than what we do on the show. So please be very, very aware for that. So just sort of a little public service announcement right there. All right, holy crow. Wow, we dumped the wrong one there, man. I thought because AMD was weak, I actually thought the other way. We talked about relative strength versus weakness the other day. And, I just figured that it was pushing down low because it was down so much that, this move right there at this level was good enough. But we did have the futures crack a little bit here on the NASDAQ. So actually not even really. The futures are still at this level. So yeah, AMD feeling the brunt of that, and we hold the wrong one. But Apple's still down. Apple's down near VWAP. This has been a good short for us as well. Short there and out, short again, and now we're right back down to this level. So AMD, we give up about 30 cents, getting out a little too early. Let's see if Apple will make us a little bit of a happy camper on the downside. And then also, it's a good out, man. Good thing we got out of that on Carvana because now it's right back upside. So a good fill there. We got that 97 fill as Argentina goes up now 2-0 on the Netherlands. So that's too bad. I kind of wanted, I don't have a dog in the fight, but some guys in the office like Netherlands, so I was sort of cheering for them. But I do know there's a lot of Argentinian love.
I know Luca was saying that this will be the end of the road for Messi, but I don't know.
I think this is his last World Cup. I think that's the only thing.
He said he was going to get eliminated. What he said. So that's what Luca was saying. Doesn't look like it because Messi is at the moment.
He just scored. It looks like.
Up 2-0.
Does he have both, Cherif? He only has one. So,
okay.
I feel like this is going to be his last. I think he's basically won everything. Oh, he got it on a kick? A penalty? It was a penalty, yeah. So it was a penalty there. So, okay, Messi, that's great. The World Cup has been absolutely fantastic if you've been cheering for the underdogs and things like that. So looks like Argentina will squeeze through. They're the heavy favorite against Netherlands right now. Okay, man, we only have 15 minutes until the imbalances. And honestly, Apple's now starting to go. So let's go again. Slap a fail on this one as we're trying to take down this 143.50. Let's hope we can do that. I'm not even going to look at AMD. It's going to make me want to throw up. Tesla as well, bouncing off 180. That's a long that you can have if you want it. I don't think it's worth putting too much capital at risk. I know you've said that as well. So I know you've been flat now for a while. And I've basically been flat as well, man. Momo's not doing anything. Carvana's not doing anything. And we hold out for more than $1 here on Apple. And so let's just continue to trade here into the close. If we do find any opportunities, we'll be on them. AMD still down. AMD's at 69 flat. This could be a trade. Shoot, man. We should have waited for that. That downside move here is 68.70, 68.80. It could be something right there. Maybe we could test a long, but I don't really think long is any good. So as you can see, I'm pulling at straws here to try to find some opportunities, man. This is too choppy. Yeah, even Momo, your name there in the chat agrees there that even to trade Momo might not be a good trade here. You know what? Where am I long? 905? Come on. I don't know. Maybe we get a 20 fill again on Momo. I'm just hoping that this thing can run. Market tanking a little bit.
Yeah, the market's coming off a little bit towards the end as we get closer to the imbalance. I'm not going to do the whole imbalance thing today because it's a Friday. It's a quiet day. I'm not expecting a whole lot. At 350, we'll get some numbers that'll move some stocks. That's all you need to know.
Wow, here we go,
But
dude.
I do want to go through something real quick. I've been meaning to answer this question. I think it's going to be helpful for you guys. Somebody was asking, why does the S&P matter, and like what dictates direction, and why is that legit? Well, okay, first off, you have to understand what the basket of stocks is in the S&P 500 or even the NASDAQ 100. You take 100 names, so the biggest names in the US, you put them in a basket, right? And that puts together, actually, let me come back a little bit. Let's deal with the NASDAQ 100 specifically. You take 100 of the biggest tech names, you put them in a basket, you assign them different weights based on their market cap and how they trade and whatnot. They're not necessarily price, but by market cap.
Yeah.
And each stock has its own weight. So when you get to a point where a name like Apple is the largest weight, and this is just coming off of Slick Charts, by the way. They do a great job of doing the breakdown on the weight list. Apple here is at almost 13%, 12.9%. So if you add up Apple, Microsoft, and I'm going through the top 6 stocks here, including both Alphabet shares, right? Google and Google.
Wow, AMD.
That's 41% in the first 7 I guess, share counts, right? Including both Alphabet shares. So 41% of the index is 7 names. So the remaining 93% only control 60%. So if you're getting movement in any of these individual names at the top of this wait list, then of course it's going to start moving the indexes. And that's what represents a market as a whole. It's unusual for the NASDAQ because of how it's weighted so high up at Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and whatnot. But definitely keep an eye on this. This is why it matters. When we look at index names, when I talk about index names at the top, I'm talking about these names. I'm talking about Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, Google, both class of Google shares, but we only track one, and then Tesla at 3%. After that, it gets small. Like you see that's 2.3%, 2.2%, AVGO at 2%. And it gets much smaller as you go further down the list. So I would pay attention to the top. Obviously, when these stocks go, the market's going to go in a certain way. And I'm sure, Shawn, you have something to say about this Apple position, because Apple, the lead name at 13%, heading down right now as it heads down through 143.20. So the way Apple's going, the market's going as a whole. I'm sure if you pull some names together, let's take a look at Tesla. We know Tesla's been somewhat strong today. What's Tesla doing? Is Tesla falling too? No. Tesla's resilient in this market. So given the weighting, you got to play the math game, right? Tesla's down here at 3%. So as long as Google, one of the Google shares is going up, in this case, if one goes up, both will go up. But if Google goes up, it can offset Tesla. But if Apple goes down, then you need Microsoft and Amazon to offset Apple. That's the kind of math that needs to be done. So if you get all of them moving in one direction, obviously the market's going to be falling apart. And that's why, in terms of looking at the market as a whole, in the NASDAQ world, you can pay attention to 6 or 7 names. In the S&P side, it's a different game because, well, once you get to the S&P, the weightings are different. Apple only has 6%, Microsoft's at 5%, and then you get a bunch of different names. So Apple can easily be offset in the S&P, but there's 500 names there, right? So this is why you would pay attention to certain index names in certain indexes, specifically NASDAQ-heavy tech names, because of the way that they're weighted. So right now it does look like the market is going, it's breaking down hard and fast too now at 45 to the downside as we head on down. And I'm sure, Shawn, you're happy about that Apple move.
Yeah, man, we're pretty good, and we'll throw up the diamond hands because finally we got a little pair here at least. But we're right into this level, and I'm thinking diamond hands no more. We're at 143. It is a nice move down here in the futures spot. If you could put the chart up here, right there, breaking through one. Did we freeze? There it is. 143 right now into this level again. This is a level that we put on our sticky note that we liked this for support and resistance. We actually liked it for resistance breaking to the upside 143, which is so crazy. We talked about not having that long. But you know what? In hindsight, so if I would have got out of Apple, it would have been, out of Apple, right? It would have been 143.80, right? So I would have been peed off now because it's down $1. Now we got out of AMD, the same short. And remember, look, the best thing I've said all afternoon, which isn't much. I mean, I don't say anything very valid most of the time. But remember at the beginning of this, when we started this, I said my bias was to the short, which is why we were holding these shorts and why we were only looking for shorts here today on this move, or especially in the afternoon. So there it is right now. But look at this AMD. We got out at 69.40. I was like, oh man, I got out of the wrong one. No, I didn't, because I actually had the same amount of shares. So right there, 69.50 out, 69.40 out. That's now down 60 cents. The Apple trade is down $1 from where that breaking spot was. So I think we did the right one there, holding on for Apple to make a move down. But again, we're not going to be that guy that holds this and like, hey man, we're thinking that this is going to go another $1. I'm really happy with this movement here into the close. Both Arun and I were sitting here thinking like, nah, this move wasn't happening, right? But it did happen into the close. So there's Apple. It's trying to bounce. I'm thinking, honestly, Arun, you think I should? I mean, I'm not calling.
Imbalances? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna. I don't know. We don't have an update on the imbalances. Could you check? I'll check. I'll go to Financial Juice because Cherif's over there. And
I'm sure, you know what, somebody in the chat probably has it. It's probably like a few $100 million to sell, I would think.
All right, I'm just going to get out now that I'm seeing Apple, honestly, 143.20. Like, if we take that right there, that's 143.15. Let's bump it up a little bit. That way, if it does fail and continue to go downside, like right there, that's 25. All right, let's just do... I mean, I don't want to give up this 25 cents that we already have, and I don't want to get out either. All right, let's just do it, though. If it takes this 143.25, now it's pushing lower, this Apple short, so this is going to be a good one for us.
190 million to sell is what
190 million to sell,
expected.
so okay. Yeah, not a big sell number there.
No.
And by the way, remember we just talked about Coinbase? New record low for Coinbase right now. Brand new record low for Coinbase of 40.28. was just hit. So that's a brand new record low for Coinbase. We talked about that. That could have been a short that we had as well. I said I'd rather short through 40, but man, that break, we could have had this one as well. We talked about shorting that break of 40.60, so good one there. I'm just happy that we did have the bias to the short and it printed out. So, I mean, whatever you have right now is working. Hey, what's up, Momo? Right back to flat. I'm debating just getting out of this one. Momo, we've got already, that's 20 cents. Sorry, that's 10 cents. That's 20 cents. The Netherlands just tie it up? No, 2-1 right now.
One, yeah.
Uh-oh, 8 minutes left in regulation. Netherlands making a game of it, so that's great. I always like it when both fans have something to cheer about. Mm-hmm. You know, like at least if you're Dutch and you're there, you spent all the money on the tickets, and it'd be like, oh man, we lost 2-0, kind of like Canada didn't really show up, really. We did good in the Belgian game, but not much else there. But again, it was really, proud moment to be there. But if you're the Dutch, you're always looking for victory, so that's nice. 2-1, at least it's not one of those blowout games. But here we go, nice downside move. Momo, whatever, we're gonna leave that. Apple's still bleeding to the downside right now, so good trade for me on this one. And again, congratulations to everybody watching today, the World Cup, and for your
Messi's
teams.
on the ground, and I don't know why, and I don't know if this is a tactic to get some time.
He's holding,
burnt.
oh, maybe his appendix just burst. He's holding his gut there. So, we'll see what happens on that one.
That's so weak.
What is he, Italian?
That is so weak.
Oh, I'm Italian. Okay, so nice move downside there for Apple, man. I feel like it hasn't been wrong enough, man, today, but this is a big one. We're now $1.70 in the money on Apple. So, Arun, you had a great trade this morning. We took $1.50 or so on Tesla. You took $1.80 on Snow. We've got $1.80 right now in the money on Apple. So let's go two-shot FOD. Bang. Right there. So thank you, Fahad, and thank you, Arun, for coming through today one more time as we're putting on the bangers for these guys. And a big shout out to Ian and Luca as well. I know they had some great trades on in the midday show as well. And then again, no bigger shout out to anybody today other than Cherif, who's there at the big desk filling in for Brendo. And I hear him every time we spin the money. He's loving that over there. So yeah, good one, yo. So someone says nice bang, yo, in the chat. So yeah, good one here today. Just happy to be here with everybody trading these markets. Apple breaking through 143, we're gone. That's it, man. Let's make sure we take $1.60. Let's watch Apple go. Only a few minutes till those imbalances.
I think you'd hold out for the imbalances, even if it breaks 143.
You think I could hold out? That's it. We're doing that. Let's hold out to get a little bit more of this one. That way I can send the bill to Arun. No, just playing around. I am going to hold out anyways. Let's hold out for the imbalances.
Too close at this point.
Yeah, exactly. We're right here right now. Let's play. So I'm going to put my out here at 143.25. If it retraces back, I'll lose 30 cents. That's fine. We'll still take $1.20 on the end of it. We're here to play this game, so let's do it right now. Apple, we're going to get out at 143.25. I got the Arun blood now, baby.
All right. Answering a question, somebody was asking, well, go to my screen there, Fahad. The one with this page right here, what is it? Where to get the weights. If you really care that much, go to slickcharts.com. That's where I got it from. They have a pretty good job, and they update it every quarter usually too, anytime there's indexing action. So I would just get it from there if that's what you wanted to know. Futures market, okay. I guess we're going to make a bounce here. Looks like we're going to move off the 44s, which is kind of where we started this day when we dropped off after that PPI number. all the way down here. We went as low as 42 and change. Well, I know we went to 30. That's a completely different story. But after that, the lowest point since we bounced back was around 42 and change. And I think we got awfully close just now. It looks like 40 is going to be the marker that they're going to be working with. But again, too late in the day. There's 2 minutes left before imbalances come out. Not going to make a difference. If you really want to trade, save it for Monday because it can get, in a quiet market, I don't trust anything. It's hard to trust levels because you need volume to trust levels, right? Levels are built on volume. So when volume starts drying up, obviously on a day like today where it's been somewhat thin, and then you get to the end of the day when indexing, or not even index action, but imbalances bring out some volatility right when they come out, if there's no volume, then you can blow past levels that you thought may hold. So in today's case, I think it's going to be one of those situations where you kind of just let the imbalance come out, let it do what it's going to do, and then go from there. But it is making a small little bounce right now. I know Apple, you're holding on.
Yeah, no, but I have my stop order. I just don't want it to trigger before the imbalance. That's all. So I'm just playing
Hold
a little.
the stop order.
Yeah, but then if
You're 90 seconds out.
I know, but when it rips, and then I just got to put the stop order right back in. That's the problem.
I mean,
I'm taking the stop. I'm just going to take that stop. If it rips up in the next minute.
all right.
All right, you know what, Arun? Fuck that. I'm just going to cancel my stop order. There we go.
No, I don't want to take responsibility for any of this.
No, I'm canceling the stop order, all right?
I don't want to take responsibility for any of this.
Because what's going to happen, you're not going to take responsibility. If, you know, okay, here we go. It's not. Hopefully the stop order is not going to matter. I'm going to get the stop order ready to go just for when that number does come out in case it's a rocket shipped to the north side. Let's make sure that we get that. So I'm going to up it a little bit right now. Just because I got to, you know, we're talking about money, so I gotta make sure that I do that. Remember, I gotta pay for those glasses and stuff. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that did make me feel more guilty. All right, so we did take a piece out of Carvana, gave us 01s or fives there, 01 we got. So again, we're short at 4, we got 01s. I don't know, there's nothing happening. We are gonna hold out for Carvana, of course. Okay, here comes Apple. I'm putting the stop order in right now. It doesn't matter. It is a nice little downside move here for Apple. With only 20 seconds left, the stop's not gonna get run. We are now at lows for Apple right now, or for at least of this move, we're at that. We've cracked through that 143. So here we go. With only 8 seconds to go, let's see what pops up here. You can stay right here as Fahad is watching soccer, which is fine. 2 and 1. Here come the imbalances right now.
Said 8.
And it's a downside move right now.
Apple sell too.
To the bottom. So Apple right now with a sell, 2.2 million. Thank you, Arun, for that one. The money keeps on piling in here on that. Yes. $2 now in the money for this trade. Big time movement here for moi and for Apple into the close there. So yes, pretty proud about that one. Good hold here for Apple. I'm just going to punch out a Momo. I can't believe I keep saying Momo. Funny name right there. We're going to get out of that one and just call that a day. Momo to the downside right now. There it is. We are, oops, we did not. How come I punched out there on Momo. I'm going to find out what's going on with that one. Maybe we're going to offer 89s instead of just punching 88s. There it is. We got that. Okay, ripped up through it. So Momo out. Nah, we're still up on the name, but not much happened there at the end of the day. Carvana almost going the other way to the upside. Maybe there's a buy there for Carvana. This name we can just get away from as well. Here it's not really moving too much. So we'll get out of the way of Carvana, hopefully. But watch out for a top break if it does. We are going to get out at 13 just in case. But down goes Foreman. Down goes Fraser. The market is making a nice move here. 142.50. Let's go. Apple. Boom, boom, boom. Nice move to the downside here. Right into protection. Whatever. If it takes 140, I might just get out right now, to be honest with you. There's Carvana out at 6s. Pretty happy with that. Not much happening there on Carvana. Out now at 6. Yep, so that's fine. Kind of nothing burger there on Carvana, but we tried it. Made a little bit of money, but not much there. And then Apple as well, making that move down. That's going to be a big one for me. So really proud of that with only a couple minutes left. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button. We're probably at like 4,000 or 5,000. Yeah, and the interest in Apple is, look at that imbalance too. Although it's 1.4 million on the imbalance, the paired value is 6 million. So the total imbalance at one point was 7.5 million shares to be done, and they've already done most of it. But it shows unusually large interest in Apple. We're not sure why. I might be related to options, but options will be next week. So I'm not sure why they're choosing to do it today. But
At the top of the list, we've got what? ZH, I looked it up, it's an ADS, it's $1.34, don't care. Forward, that'll be taken out. Huya, I have no clue what Huya is, but I feel like a lot of these are ADSs. Yep, Huya is an ADS, I believe Beak is an ADS as well, FTI. Anyways, it doesn't really matter because the big dog here is going to be Apple as long as it sticks around. 1.1 million shares. Remember, at 355, we get the next update. So if this imbalance sticks around or even gets slightly bigger, you might see this market fall a little bit more. We saw the imbalance come out. We saw Apple move to the downside. Futures market broke 40 to the downside as it heads on down. So just be aware that at 355, when we get the next update, if Apple gets bigger, this market will fall a little bit more. However, if this market if Apple catches the bid or if the imbalance gets offset, then you're going to see a run to the upside, or at least covering run to the upside, not a big way, but at least a run to the upside. Because we were talking about the futures, and we were trading at 48. And let me just break this down for you guys here. This is a 1 minute chart, and you can see the move that we got right at the end there, because this was at about 345 when Apple was coming up, and the market was coming up, and Shawn was about to pull the stop, or we were going back and forth on pulling the stop, and then
pull the goalie.
348, and then boom, done. All the way down, we went to 36 and change on the futures. Still waiting for the 355. We could easily come back up to the mid 40s if this imbalance comes in and starts getting smaller. I saw somebody in the chat said 3.2 billion to sell.
Yeah.
I believe it. I mean, the move would roughly make it like that, of that size. We've been usually seeing 1 billion so far, so to see it on a quiet Friday to be 3 billion, that's kind of high. So there might be some traction to the sell side if we stick around after 355 and stay at that size.
Yeah, so Apple is now sub 142.50. We got out at 142.50. I took the out. It came in. The sell imbalance helped, man. We were at 143. It gave me 50 extra cents. So I'm going to be gone. I mean, it could easily break this and go to the downside. But again, without that crystal ball, it makes trading quite difficult. So I'm going to just take that out. Again, short here, out, short again, out. Let's just wrap it up, call it a day right now and move on. So that was, not move on. There's nothing to do. We only have 5 minutes left. Let's see if these imbalances do switch around. I did want to talk about it because we did have Momo was here as a sell, by the way. So no wonder why it went down. I wasn't even noticing that. Here it comes up to 355. So see, there's Apple. It's just kind of dancing around here. So, maybe... Yeah, let's just wait to see. So 355, where's Apple on here? Here it is right there. So we'll watch this. There is a flip over, like we just said. It's a key spot here at 355. Watch Apple, probably makes a move right now. There it is, 355, and down. No, it stayed. So it stayed a little bit there. See, now it's down to 500,000.
Paired off,
it was just 1.5. So now it's just probably it's going to hover around and make that play at the end of the day. If it stays there, you could get like a 20, 30 cent move to the downside at the end of the day. But I feel like right now, hovering around, good out for us. There's really nothing else in there. Wow, Ford. Wow, okay, that's not...
Still kind of small though, right, for Ford?
Yeah, Ford's done 30 million on the day, so it's only 5 million balance, 4.5, and you can see it's not really affecting the stock. So other than that, you've already gone over some of those Chinese ADRs, and yeah, not much. It's funny, because the only name that you and I were talking about was Apple. Now this is VNet, but Apple was one of the only ones that was even on the imbalance. And there it comes, man, new low right now for Apple as well, as the market is trying to test some of these lows as well. So yeah, good job today, man. Really happy with these trades. I hope you're able to make some money with us, and hope you enjoyed the show. I was just joking about the likes. We're just at 1K. We have now we only have 3,500. A pretty light day for watching, which I don't blame you. The market hasn't been, super eventful today. But right now, if you guys can hit that like button, let's get this to 1.5K. If you haven't done it yet, please do it now. It's been a pretty important metric for us as well. So thanks to everybody for watching. Coinbase, new 52-week lows today. I would say that, honestly, Arun, let's put this on our to trade list on Monday. Whenever names are making these lows, especially if crypto has a little bit of a rough weekend, I could see Coinbase being a big-time play there on Monday. So this could be a good swing trade as well. Once it breaks below 40 and opens below there, I would say you could have a multiple dollar move on this name on Monday. So watch out for Coinbase making some moves.
Yeah, Coinbase making some moves, futures market making some moves, continuing on down. We snapped back up for a few minutes there as we came back above 40. Does look like the market wants to head on down. And on the top corner here, you see Apple. Apple's looking at 142.20 at the moment. And it might make a move, continue its move to the downside. We are getting into the final 3 minutes when things could get wacky here as people want to deal with imbalances. But again, imbalances are fairly small apart from Ford here at 4 million, but that shouldn't be large enough to make a difference. And then Apple's, I think, gone now. Here's Apple at 365 to sell. What is interesting, though, is the amount of interest. Almost 8 million shares paired on Apple. So it is still, like, although the imbalance is small, it is active today. So Apple's still continuing. For whatever reason, there's a lot of interest in Apple today, but they are offsetting it. But it is still there in terms of actionable interest there at 8 million shares. It looks like the print is going to go off for probably a little bit more as we get right to the end. So the official print should be coming in right at 4 o'clock. They might delay it a little bit. Apple tends to be accurate. It's a NASDAQ name. That one should go off right at 4 o'clock because NASDAQ's usually on time. Right? It's New York that's the one that's like sometimes delayed. But NASDAQ, as soon as it hits 4 o'clock, you see this massive Q print. That's the market code for NASDAQ, which goes off right at 4 o'clock. And that should be the official closing price. But for now, it does look like a lot of these ADRs are going to stick around. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Because if you think this is big, just wait till next Friday. Next Friday is when it really matters because that's witching. That's a rebalancing action. That's a lot of expirations on the options side.
Year end.
That's
year end rebalancing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I guess it is a year end too. Well, it's
for the S&P, it's their last.
The S&P rebalance as well. Yeah, so there's rebalances. So that's going to be the interesting one. You're going to see some crazy numbers next Friday when it comes to rebalances and imbalances right at the end of the day. So that should be fun. But until we get to that point, this week is pretty much over as Apple continues its move towards that 142.
All right, I just want to say finally, look at this AMAM right now, finally open and not finally open, but staying open. This is the longest it's stayed open all day. This was basically 340, and it's still open here into 4 o'clock, and it's at the high of the day right now, AM. So I don't know who's going to ring the bell. Oh, Obi's going to ring the bell. Okay, Obi's going to get ready to rock and roll there. Thanks, Fahad, for reminding us. We now only have 40 seconds to go before, oh, wow, here goes AM. It looks like, nope. Oh, it's halting right now. It can't move from here.
You know, if it halts right now, the open has to be the final print.
Yeah, it's not going to open. It'll open at like 410 or something like that for one last trade. Or are they going to not halt this?
No, they're going to halt it.
I thought they might have tried to hold that for 20 seconds, but it's a function of the market, so they have to do it. Okay, right now, with only 10 seconds left, we hit that countdown. We told you about a bull versus bear, man. It was positive for a little bit today, and now it goes into the red, so that should be a bear with only 3, 2, that's Obi, and 1. Ring that bell. All right, thank you, Obi, for that one. I hope you had a good day as well. And yeah, for everybody else, man, that AM now halted. There will be one last print. The NASDAQ will reopen it and print it probably at that 5-minute mark, maybe 10-minute mark. So if you do have a market on close order for AM, you should be able to get that. But again, that's broker specific, I would think. But the market will open up. You should get some aftermarket trading there for AM. But yeah, man, great day. Apple closes at 142.15. So yeah, we got out at 142.50, giving some up again. But that was a great trade for me, man. Really made decent on that one. So, hey, you're welcome, Aaron. Thank you to Arun as well for such a great show. No, Valeria is not still here. Valeria left about a year and a bit ago, I think.
Like that, yeah.
Her visa expired, man, and she didn't want to renew it. We have no problem telling you that. She tells you that as well. I'm just waiting. She's not in the country. When she gets back, only 5 months ago, okay. When she gets back, I'm going to have her either come in here or do a Zoom call with all of us. So that should be a lot of fun. But okay, what's up over there, Cherif? How did we finish the day?
Yeah, Shawn, markets closing lower. Pride would be happy. Free fall Friday, it ended up manifesting. So here we go. S&P down, S&P 500 down 0.75%. Dow down 0.68. NASDAQ likewise 0.65. Ethereum feeling it the worst in the crypto sector, down 1.25%. Bitcoin only about down half, guys. So ends up being Friday, free fall.
Yeah, not free fall Friday. Slow down on that one. I know that's your guy Prad's saying there. I don't think it was it was a free fall last hour for sure. Feels like the market didn't give too much love to that. All right, let's go triple box if you can, because I want to get Cherif in here as well. Again, man, thank you so much, Cherif. You did a fantastic job. So hats off to you. I'm just going to hit this. I know this is going to go over your face, but there we go. Awesome job right there. Hey, thank you so much, Cherif, again. And thank you to everybody for viewing today. I know it was a tough one. It was a tough day to trade for sure. But, you know, we did get some good moves in the market. Coinbase gets Supreme Court hearing over account, something like that, some sort of a holder lawsuit or something, probably a nothing burger, but we're gonna all watch Coinbase. I talked about that. That could be a good swing trade. All right, so Cherif, how do you like give us some feedback about that roll over there?
Oh, all I can just tell you that there has been a major development in the match with Netherlands and Argentina, and the development came at the 10-minute added time mark, and it was scheduled for 10 minutes of added time. So literally at the end of the game, what a development. So we're gonna get more match. If that kind of gives it away to our viewers, I'm sorry, but there's more match to come, Shawn.
Yeah, no. So thanks for the feedback on the roll up there as we went right to soccer. But yeah, you're also going to be filling in for Brendan when he takes his vacay, by the way. Okay, AM up, just opened up. It's $5 right now. So congratulations to anybody that's on that one. All right, let's wrap this thing up because we're going to go watch overtime here. That was the last shot of the game.
Here it is,
Shawn. It through right there. That doesn't happen in soccer too often, I wouldn't think. But hey, big thank you for watching. A shout out to you, my man Arun over there. Shout out to Cherif as well. Fahad, man. I mean, you already know what's good on that front. Shout out to Luca. Thanks, Obi, for ringing the bell. Shout out to Ian as well. Greg, Brankles, everybody behind us. Thanks to Justin, everybody, Brendan, for coming in early today and helping us out with the watch list as well, and making sure that all ran very, very smoothly. So, hey, look, for everybody here at Trader TV Live, have a fantastic weekend, man. Spend it with the ones you love. That's a line from Luca. So, you know, take care of yourself and everybody, and we're going to be back on Monday. It's going to be me and Arun again. And then, hey, maybe Cherif at the big desk. We're going to find out, see how Brendan's feeling. But again, thanks so much for everything. And for all of us here at Trader TV Live, have a good one, and we'll see you on Monday. Ciao.
Great weekend, guys.